John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas. This is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, we finally reached it, Friday of Wild Card Weekend, and the Eagles and Packers is right around the corner. But we've got a new injury concern to keep an eye on. Is it something? Is it nothing? Well, it's not the quarterback anymore. One of the wide receivers. And a big one for the Birds. We'll discuss everything ahead of Eagles-Packers down. Kincade and Salciunas. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas again. John Kincade with me. Time to roll here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
If you were to ask me, Eagles versus Packers, Eagles versus Vikings, Eagles versus Lions, I feel comfortable in saying I believe the Eagles win any of those games.
I know that for the most part, you're always going to count on Nick Sirianni's teams being ready to play no matter what week it is.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Friday morning to everybody out there across the Delaware Valley. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade to my left. Johnny, how you feeling this morning?
I am feeling really, really good. Dinner at Ralph's does that to you, though.
Yes, it does.
You know, really, really nice. But, yes, I'm feeling really good this morning, and I'm ready for the first weekend of the journey that this team hopefully does that gets us to New Orleans.
This is what we've been waiting for all year, right? The opportunity to see this team. Like, once they started going on that run, probably about 4 to 5 wins into that 10-game win streak that they went on coming off the bye, you started to get a sense of just how good this Philadelphia Eagles team was going to be.
When was it for you? Do you remember?
I'm trying to really pinpoint.
Because I think for everybody it was probably a different time.
You know what? For me, it was probably the Rams game, I think, was where it was just like, oh, okay, this team's legit. The Ravens win, though, was their best one. I just think we knew before that Ravens game how good this team could be. That was more of a confirmation. How about for you?
I think, obviously, the Ravens win was the big exclamation point for me. Absolutely. But to me, you took it out of my mouth, the Rams. The Rams game and the demolition of the Rams and the fact that they fell behind early, looked really bad in the first quarter, and then just literally stomped on them for 3 quarters. That's where it was, and then it was reinforced the next week by the Ravens.
Right.
By the time we got to December 1st, which was the Ravens game, then it was, look, I started talking about New Orleans because I really believed, okay, then it was legitimately you got a shot to go past what I thought was the ceiling.
Right, and the NFL is not baseball, basketball, or hockey, where once you have a postseason team and you're confident you can kind of check out on a game here or there because
Sure.
Okay, we are where we want to be. We're going to get to the postseason. Let's kind of just fast forward to that point. Football doesn't work that way. Every game is majorly important for seeding. Every game is majorly dangerous when it comes to potential injuries and how that could affect your season. Every single game holds such weight in the shortest professional North American sports season that we couldn't zone out. But my point in saying that is this postseason run has been anticipated for well over a month now. Probably you could say months by some in the fan base saying, we know this team is good. We know this team is Super Bowl caliber. Let's see them get there.
I love the word you're using there. They're Super Bowl caliber. And before the year, I thought this team was Super Bowl caliber. Did I think they could win a Super Bowl? I wasn't sure. And I really didn't think the defense would be. I know now that this team can absolutely win a Super Bowl. Well, they need a lot to go right. And maybe something isn't going right.
Yes, and we will
not
talk
to be
about
overly
that.
alarmist, but
well, some people may be today. And if you want to be, you can make that case. But the big news yesterday is A.J. Brown. He's out of practice with a knee injury. He practiced for a short period of time on Wednesday and then left practice. Yesterday, he did not practice with a knee issue. Now, the feeling around the complex down there at NovaCare from the players, from the coaching staff, is that A.J. Brown's going to play on Sunday.
I think that it is 100% from 3 different ways that I checked last night before Vilparm. He will play on Sunday.
But you got that weird face.
I have serious concern.
Of what?
This is not normal. And any one of you out there, it's like, oh, here it goes. Philadelphia media going to try to create something. I would ask you, how many times has a player missed Wednesday and Thursday in practice and played this year for the Eagles? Doesn't happen.
Not often.
Thursday is the biggest practice of the week under Nick Sirianni. The Thursday practice is the important one. It is the critical one, mission critical, more than Fridays. Now, AJ may go out today and I would expect that he will go out today and he will be limited in practice.
That would be ideal, yes.
That he will be limited. They will see what they got. If he sits again today, I'm concerned that he's playing on Sunday.
Even if he doesn't practice today, I would not be concerned.
Well, you should be concerned because it would be a first in the Nick Sirianni administration.
I got you. But this
is not what they do as an organization. It's not what they do.
Right, but
he misses today.
Playoffs are different.
I got you, but here's what it would tell you, though, Connor. It's bad. It's a bad – if he doesn't practice today, whatever he's dealing with, it's not minor.
Right.
It's not a little tweak. It's not good.
Well, it may be bad, but I think whatever it is, it's not getting worse over the course of the week, right? He's not in a situation right now. The Eagles are aware of it. They have a plan in place, it seems, of how they want to rest him to get him ready for Sunday.
He just had a week off.
No, I got you.
I mean, he had a week off.
I understand. I don't know where this came from.
Honestly, it looks like I think it came from the Pittsburgh game. Very end of the Pittsburgh game along the left sideline when he went down awkwardly.
Yeah.
I think that's where it happened. But it appears he's worse off than he was leading into the last game. He's the last game that mattered, the Dallas game.
Yeah.
He's worse off.
It's hard to tell because everybody did not practice that week or was limited because of
that's
rest
Giant
and everything.
Week. That's Giant
Giant Week. Sorry.
I'm talking
Cowboys
about the
week.
Dallas week.
Yeah.
He practiced more leading up to the Dallas game. He's not practicing after 2 full weeks off. There's a reason for concern. There's absolutely reason to say to yourself, uh-oh. An uh-oh moment, and to wonder, because I'll just say it, they can't win a Super Bowl without him. And I don't think
it'll be tougher.
I don't think they necessarily can get to a Super Bowl without him.
The road would definitely be tougher. Now,
incredibly tougher.
I don't know that it's the same as Saquon Barkley. I don't know that it's the same as Jalen Hurts, where you say, like, if these guys go down, you're dead. I'm putting both of those. I mean, we did it. Who's the most important player on offense? That was a conversation we had yesterday. And Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley were the easy 1 and 2. Like, those are the guys that you have to have. The good thing with A.J. Brown is you have a guy in Devontae Smith, who's your wide receiver 1B to A.J. Brown's 1A, that if you were forced to go into – if A.J. Brown was Thanos snapped off the face of the earth, and the only thing we'd ever known in this city was Devontae Smith as a wide receiver, there would be people who say, yeah, you can win a Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley in the backfield with Devontae Smith as your number 1. Like, that's possible.
Just in a little tiny microscope, too, of it, he's going against the third-string cornerback this Sunday as well. So that's also a huge advantage to Devontae Smith.
It is, yeah, but the advantage is, the advantage going up against is if you have A.J. Brown in the game. That's where the advantage is, because who's your number 2 wide receiver?
It would be Jahan Dotson, who actually did have a very nice game last week.
Jahan Dotson had a really great game against the most vanilla defense, and I am not Brian Baldinger. I am not Andrew DiCecco watching. I sat there in that press box watching that Giants defense, and I'm like, okay, this is fundamental. This is vanilla as it gets. And yes, Jahan Dotson, as the first read in the passing game, had a great game. He has failed to make an impact as the third option in the wide receiver receiving tree. He's failed to make it. And everybody blames it on Jalen Hurts. It's like there's a time where sometime you make a lot of third receivers can make an impact. Adam Thielen can.
Right. But my argument would just be, and maybe this is the Allen Iverson in me.
Okay.
A.J. Brown doesn't have to practice.
Okay.
Like, it's not Jalen Hurts. It's not the timing route. Like, A.J. Brown just has to run his routes. It's on Jalen Hurts to give him the ball in the right spot. We know A.J.'s capable of just show and going as much as pretty much anybody on this offense. So I'm not concerned about it right now. I'm not concerned about it for Sunday.
You said something yesterday, whistling past the graveyard.
Yeah.
You're whistling right now. Because it will be the graveyard to their Super Bowl winning chances.
It might be the funeral.
If AJ's not good.
We are talking about practice, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. He's over at the TGI Fridays right now, by the way, getting ready for the breakfast rush.
Think they're open. But
Breakfast.
the question we'll start with, 610-632-0975. How worried are you about the A.J. Brown missing practice, knee injury quotient of the game going on Sunday? It's a new thing to take our attention as we prepare for Eagles-Packers. I'm interested in the people's thoughts on that. You can call in. You can text in. We're going to talk more about that coming up. And also, are we overlooking Green Bay? We got to come to terms with that at this point in the week because we've been very confident pretty much all week long. We'll discuss coming up. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade to my left, Brennan Gunn on the board. We're back after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Bill Colarulo.
The Packers are
Early. He's got some high energy today, wearing that Notre Dame baseball cap.
Running on no sleep, but got the W.
Big win for the Irish last night.
I still don't know what Drew Aller's thinking was. I don't understand it.
Not a great ball there in a big spot.
I felt terrible for the kid, though, because, like, he's crying on the podium. afterwards and everything, and you know that the jabronis will be out in force.
Oh, for sure. They always are. It's stupid.
Bunch of idiots that never ever even probably played a snap of football in their lives will be putting out their tweets to him and telling him he sucks and telling him he's awful. I hope the kid is okay.
Yeah, it's tough for him. I mean, I'll tell you what.
That's a bad decision on his. I don't know what he's thinking.
We're going to talk more about the game in the 9 o'clock hour. Just give it a little bit more to actual breakdown.
Oh, because Mike will be here.
Yeah, because Mike will be here. And I do.
Yes.
I want to make sure there's always fireworks when Mike Missanelli's in the building. But
well, he is. He's Mike.
That game, one thing to say, completely delivered on expectations. The billing, they met it last night between Notre Dame and Penn State. That was a great game. I hope the Green Bay Packers Philadelphia Eagles matchup on Sunday is nothing like that game.
I would agree with you completely. I don't want that drama.
No, I hope
don't
it's
want
not
any
entertaining
drama
at all. I hope we're asleep by the third quarter.
I have to drive home afterwards, so that would be a little hard. I don't have a self-driving car.
You could wake up.
So I'm hoping, and I will also take over the Fanatic Twitter feed, which I'm sure in a playoff game is going to be just very rational.
Yeah,
real rational exchange of ideas and everything. But yeah, Connor, I'm hoping it's a fourth quarter where we're more talking about, okay, now the Eagles have set themselves up to who would be best to play. That's what the commentators are talking about.
Absolutely, and we're going to have that courtesy of John Kincade. He's going to lay out the potential paths for you later on in the show.
I got to hear yours and I want to hear yours and Brendan's.
Yes,
and I'm interested to see how much yours matches mine. Not only the path that we think's going to happen, because the path we think's going to happen and the path we want to happen could be two different things.
Now, I was a play the Patriots in the Super Bowl guy back in 17,
which I think
18,
I wish I'd known you then. I would have told you were stupid.
Turns out I was right.
No, it isn't. It just is we won the game.
Turns out I was right.
No.
Who knows if they beat Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
They played the Jags. They would have trucked them.
If you could guess, our paths may be different this time around, but we will find that out later on in the show. The big news of the day, A.J. Brown, not at practice yesterday, a knee injury that they're managing. Now, part of it was listed as rest as part of his injury designation. The expectation is he will play on Sunday. Now, if you have questions about if he plays, how limited will he be? Will he be hampered by this? This is stuff that we're going to find out on Sunday, and it's something that is definitely a potential pitfall of this matchup.
Let me just say this, and Haley, I've taken the glasses off, so that's usually your key. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're one of the people on Twitter who's saying, nothing to see here, AJ's fine, this is no big deal, let me assure you, this is a big deal. Does it mean that AJ's not playing? No. Does it mean that he's going to be completely ineffective? No, it does not. If he does not practice this afternoon, it absolutely could mean that he's not playing Sunday. I think he is. But this should concern you deeply that he has not practiced Wednesday and Thursday after an entire 2 weeks off. That is a reason for concern. It's not sports talk radio making up hype. It's reality of the situation. Whether you want to deal with the reality's a different story. I choose to deal on the facts of the situation. Don't just shrug this thing off.
I'm going to slightly shrug it off.
Glasses back on, Connor.
As you put your glasses back on. I'm going to slightly shrug it off.
My eye doctor's pointed me yesterday. My eyes got better.
Yeah, hey, that's awesome,
which
man.
I didn't even know could
You're aging
happen.
backwards, Benjamin Button.
I wish.
But I'm not deeply concerned with it. I'm not.
Tell me why you're not concerned. Now, the one thing I'll ask you from 2 points. Why are you not concerned? And then on your hierarchy of getting to a Super Bowl offensively, where do you put AJ?
So one of the reasons I'm not concerned is because A.J. Brown is a smaller role this year in the Philadelphia Eagles offense than he's had since he's been a member of this team. And Saquon Barkley is a huge part of that.
Okay.
Another thing is we've seen him play limited before, and I can't remember a game where A.J. Brown, even hampered by an injury, it was like, oh, well, he's ineffective. If he's on the field, he's effective.
He's also a great distraction to the other team's defense.
Exactly.
As long as they believe that he's healthy.
And this is a game where you probably don't need him to go off to win this game against the Green Bay Packers. So that's all the reasons. And then the hierarchy, I'm much more focused on guys like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, where if they're not available or if they're not at 100%, there's not really a backup plan. There's not really a safety net for those guys. A.J. Brown has become kind of a tertiary option for this Philadelphia Eagles offense, and that's no knock on him. It's more a benefit of having Hurts and Saquon doing what they're doing in this offense. So I'm not saying A.J. Brown doesn't matter. I'm saying he matters less this year because the team around him has gotten better.
Not a bad point of view.
And that's not to say that he's not important. So we'll continue to discuss this throughout the day. I'm interested on your thoughts. Phone line, text line, 610-632-0975. How concerned are you about the A.J. Brown injury? Are you at John's level? Are you more in my camp? Are you somewhere in between? We'd love to hear your thoughts because this is something that we do have to keep an eye on, whether you're overly concerned about it or not. But another thing that we're going to talk about coming up, well, how does this change the game plan? We talked about it with Hurts. It would be unfair if we didn't bring it up with A.J. Brown. Do you alter the game plan, or does it maybe play into the game plan that we were already looking for from the Birds? I think that's probably the option, and we'll explain why. Coming up next, I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas, still under the weather. John Kincade to my left, Brennan Gunn on the board. We're back after this from working Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hurts is a go. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 down at the Link. And the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday he was listed as a full participant at yesterday's practice, so it looks like he is officially good to go and will be on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, A.J. Brown did not practice yesterday as he is dealing with a knee injury, but he is expected to play per Jeff McLean on Sunday. So we'll keep you updated on that front. All this talk about the offense, though, and its players. But Matt Ryan, who joined the show yesterday, said maybe it's the defense that's more important for the Birds.
More importantly, it's how they play defense and how they play defense the second half of the season. I think the combination of being able to run the football really well, impose your will on the offensive side of the ball, but play defense the way that they have, I think those two go hand in hand.
The Sixers are set to host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can listen to that game live right here on The Fanatic. In worse news, the team officially announced Jared McCain is done for the season with the meniscus. The Flyers fell last night 4-1 to the Dallas Stars, and the Phillies agreed to a one-year contract and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Ladder 15 on Sansom Street in Center City this Sunday at 4 p.m. presented by Corona, and you can enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Not only can you listen to The Fanatic, but you can also watch.
plan now look for Sunday if A.J. Brown is limited? That is the question that we are heading towards here on Kincade Salciunas.
You trying to scare everybody?
No, I'm not trying to scare anybody.
Well, no, they should be concerned.
Wow.
So I'm scared.
You're trying to scare everybody.
No, scared's one thing. Scared should not be. If you're not concerned, you are absolutely a Pollyanna fan, and I'm going to tell you, you don't know enough to have that. You do not even know enough to have the opinion of, it's no big deal. Oh, my gosh. There's nothing to this. That is a bunch of crap.
Well,
Missing practice, missing the Thursday practice is huge. In fact, the vast majority of players in Nick Sirianni's 4-year tenure that have missed Thursday practice have not played.
right, but like we're looking
And
at.
you missed Wednesday and Thursday after a week off.
Yeah, but this isn't Cam Jurgens. This isn't Quinyon Mitchell. This is
Okay.
A.J. Brown. Like,
No, I love that.
He is as set it and forget it as any player on this team.
Okay, but there's
So-
obviously a huge injury.
Well,
there's
no,
something
that's-
that is bothering
That's
him
not
badly.
necessarily true.
What do you think it is?
Because if you have a guy like that, they require less practice. Like, we're not going to pretend like A.J. Brown needs as much practice as Cooper DeJean or as, like, Nakobe Dean or guys that are not as proven veteran players as A.J. Brown is. Like,
Are you more talking to position to, is that part of your...
No, because I think there's something important about wide receivers getting out there and having the timing with a quarterback, especially when Jalen Hurts hasn't played in a couple weeks or played through a full game in a couple weeks. But I'm just saying, like, A.J. Brown is one of the guys that I trust the most, where if he was to roll up to just like a random football game at any point for any team, I think you could throw him on the outside and say, A.J., run a slant, and you could convert that and throw that pass. Like, so I'm not saying he won't be limited.
I have no doubt that A.J. Brown could show up on Sunday and play in a game.
Right.
The problem is him not practicing on Wednesday and Thursday means that there's something that they really are like, we don't even want to put him out there because there's something going on.
Well,
it's not little minor thing.
It could just be overcaution. And I mean, I would understand that from the Eagles' perspective when you look at like what the Lions are dealing with, how they handled Week 18, the Philadelphia Eagles did, and sitting everybody and not letting Saquon go for the record. They've already made the decision that we're going to prioritize like health over pretty much everything else heading into this postseason game.
Okay.
And I think that's smart for a team that seems so much better than their opponent on paper. Like we've all agreed all week, they're significantly better than the Green Bay Packers.
They are significantly better with A.J. Brown.
Right, and the way you
The gap with an ineffective A.J. Brown, if he's not able to be A.J. Brown, I think the gap between the two teams becomes a lot more, let's just say, intriguing.
right, but if he's not on the field, the gap becomes even more intriguing than that.
Then it's a big problem.
So would you rather have A.J. Brown practice and be on that knee and running around all week, or would you rather say, hey, we know you're going to play Sunday, just sit down. We don't need to see you at practice. We don't need to see you running routes. You know the concepts we're going to use. You know the game plan. We played this team already this year. You were effective against them the first time you played them. So if I'm Nick Sirianni and the Eagles coaching staff, I say, dude, rest. Chill for a little bit. Be good for Sunday. I don't care if you practice Thursday, Friday. I don't care what you do leading up to this game. As long as you are good to be out there on Sunday in some capacity, that's all we need from you right now.
Okay, missing Thursday practice, and I'll thank Vince for this because he stole it from a Fox Sports story. Vince sends along a note. Missing Thursday practice has meant that is 4 out of 5 times minimum. So it's around 83%. 4 out of 5 times, that means the player doesn't even play in the regular season.
Right.
So this is not something that is just very minor. Don't worry about it.
Well, no,
this is odd.
It could,
very odd.
It could be because you say regular season.
No, it's not. Could be. It is very odd for a player, even with the Eagles. There's nobody that doesn't practice Thursday that is playing in games.
It's not hard to take the mental leap from that example to this A.J. Brown situation being different. Like, he is a all-pro caliber wide receiver.
He is.
That you need healthy for the postseason. So why do I need him at practice? Like, what does A.J. Brown benefit from practice at this point in the season? I know everybody benefits from practice, and having him out there makes us feel better. But he's not learning anything the Thursday before the divisional round, or the wild card round of the playoffs against a team they've already played. Like,
if you tell me that he's not learning anything, there's nothing to be gained by it, then what do you think they do at practice? There absolutely is something to be gained by it.
Well,
there's absolutely something to be gained by some timing on a route from practicing something that maybe hasn't been as effective as they want it to be.
Yes.
There absolutely is something to be gained. It's not just it's a Thursday practice. They're just out there throwing it around. It's
There's
the Packers.
stuff to be gained. I'm not saying practice doesn't matter, but I'm saying for a guy like A.J. Brown, it matters very little.
You know what you're doing? And I'm telling you, you're doing this. You're trying to convince yourself that this is not a big problem. This is something that should be setting off not the red alert, pack up everything, and there's a disaster coming. But it should absolutely be, you should be on high warning that one of the most major keys to this team winning a Super Bowl is not healthy.
It's not doing it for me. It really isn't, because I don't know what he looks like on the field yet. We haven't seen A.J. Brown on the field in 2 weeks. And
why would that be?
Well, they rested him on Sunday with the rest of the starters.
Okay, he practiced going into Dallas.
Right. So we don't know if
So why would he be totally kept out now? He for a Dallas game in the regular season that you knew they were going to truck them.
Well, we don't know, John. Like, we don't know how this injury truly occurred. We could point back to the Steelers game where he first had the lower body thing, but there's been no full report saying, well, he's dealing with what he suffered in the Steelers game. We don't know how serious this is. We don't know how much rest is a caution tactic versus a needed tactic. And we're going to find out on Sunday when we see him on the field, because he's going to play Sunday.
They've been doing the maintenance caution practice thing with Saquon Barkley, with Jalen Hurts, with other players along the way. They've been doing that on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Not on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
I got you.
There's a reason for that, because the Thursday practice is actually important about the implementation of their game plan.
I'm not saying it's not important.
So they just decided with this one guy on this one time, it doesn't matter?
Possibly. It's A.J. Brown.
I'm not buying it.
I'm
not buying it.
You don't
at
have
all.
to buy it. And I
we'll
believe
talk
there
to
are
Andrew
other
DiCecco later. We'll see if he's buying it.
I think there are other
surprised.
people out there that also don't buy it. But for me, I could totally understand them being cautious with A.J. Brown and him going out there and looking great on Sunday. And this whole conversation was just worry for nothing. Ultimately, what's going to matter? We both think he's playing in the game.
We both think he's playing in the game.
And we're going to see how he looks when he does play in the game. And if he looks good against the Packers and healthy and effective, then we're going to say, it's okay. Like, it doesn't matter. And then if he looks bad, then we're going to be worried.
I fully expect that he has the mettle and the attitude to go out and do what like a T.O. did.
Right.
Play through whatever you got to play through.
He doesn't have a broken leg.
But it's not a broken leg. We don't know what it is, though.
Exactly. So it could be minor, it could be major. We're going to.
It's obviously something that's keeping him out of practices that players that have, for this team under Nick Sirianni, they always practice.
Or something worth protecting him from, considering we're in win or go home situations. It's not the regular season anymore. The Eagles have proven they're going to be very cautious with making sure guys are available. So we'll find out on Sunday how he looks, and this is something that we will evaluate throughout the show today. I'd love to hear from you, 610-632-0975. Your thoughts on the call line, the text line, of how you're feeling about this A.J. Brown injury. And I do want to talk about this as far as the game plan. It plays into what we talked about yesterday as far as how to handle the Jalen Hurts potential rust factor. And we're also going to look at the Eagles, how they're positioned in the NFC postseason field. You have some numbers for us, Johnny, on how they match up with other NFC playoff teams. So a very interesting look at the hierarchy of the teams in the race to head to New Orleans from the NFC coming up next. I'm Connor Thomas, sitting in for Andrew Salciunas, who is going to call us coming up at 8:11 a.m. So you get to hear from the Tunis, who is still fighting off the flu. John Kincade alongside me, and Brendan Gunn behind the board. We're back after this from working Kincade Salciunas here at 97.5 The Fanatic.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still hear.
game plan go for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, considering what they're dealing with on the injury report? I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade alongside me, Brendan Gunn on the board. And yesterday, Johnny, we had this conversation because we were talking about the Jalen Hurts rust factor. He returned to practice in a limited capacity, so we said, okay, he's going to play, but how prepared can he be having missed games and missed practices and everything like that? And we said maybe the best thing you could do is ride Saquon Barkley, keep things simple, win the game that way. And that's been an effective way the Eagles have. This is not a new strategy for them, right? It's something that they have effectively done throughout the year, so you can feel good about their chances to do it. You're not completely shaking up the game plan. It's more stick to what your strengths are and protect Jalen Hurts a little bit from being asked to do too much as he works his way back to action.
How'd this team do without A.J. Brown?
Not great. Not great at all. What are they? 0-2 without A.J. Brown?
I'm just going to tell you is that A.J. could dress for this game, and A.J. may not. We don't know what he is. He may not be A.J.
Yeah.
He may not be A.J.
But guess what?
I'm hoping that he is. But just once again, if you're thinking this is a big nothing burger, you're not correct. There's something going on that they are trying to manage.
Well, Green Bay doesn't know.
No, Green Bay doesn't know.
They're just going to see number 11 lined up on the outside against a guy not named Jair Alexander.
But the Eagles are not playing games with the Packers going, hey, let's keep A.J. out and make them think that A.J.'s not playing. They would love to have A.J. Brown out on the practice field.
I'm sure. But I'm not even saying that. I'm saying if number 11 has jersey, helmet, shoulder pads on, and he is out on that field,
sure,
that is enough of an effect to change the defensive game plan for another team. He doesn't have to catch a single ball. Now, I'd like to see him catch passes and be effective, but even just him being out there, which I believe fully he's going to be available for Sunday's game, is enough that the Packers are going to have to commit thought to him defensively. And we already believe the margin between these teams is large comparatively to other postseason games that we're going to see this weekend. So I think just having him out there is going to be important. But this plays further into that idea of, you might have to ride Saquon on Sunday. Like, that might be the strategy is get up early and then just go ahead and pound the rock.
Do you think you can get by the Packers if the game plan was we have to just ride Saquon to victory?
I
do.
Sure.
But I don't. But I'm not confident that it's 100%. This is going to be Eagles comfortable. They take care of business.
No, it's not the same as if everybody's rolling. But the thing we forget about, you'll have Devontae Smith. If A.J. Brown's out there, he'll take the number one reads from the defensive backfield, which means Devontae Smith will be on a third-string guy.
But who's the number 2 guy again? Because the key is this. When Devontae Smith is out there as the 2, teams don't necessarily sell out everything to shut down A.J. Brown because they know Devontae Smith can smoke them too.
Right.
So they have to balance their defense. I guarantee you, Jahan Dotson does not get that level of respect. So they're going to do everything they can to take away the Slim Reaper.
No, but I'm saying if AJ's playing.
Right, if AJ's playing.
Then Devontae's out there against their number 3 cornerback.
It would be great.
All you need is A.J. Brown on the field because Devontae could go get 100 on these guys in his sleep.
But if they realize that A.J. Brown is not A.J. Brown, then they go.
Good luck. You point me to a defense in the NFL that says, well, A.J. Brown isn't 100%. We're not going to cover him the same way.
No, they see him. They're not. No, they won't cover him the same way.
Good luck. Then go back to Green Bay with your loss.
If they realize he's hampered, they're not going to cover him. They're not going to cover him with the same level of urgency. He's got to show that he's A.J. Brown.
He is A.J. Brown. He shows that by putting his jersey on. You know what sign he has in his locker? Always open.
What? Decoy works only so far. And they will find out whether he's a decoy or whether he's ready to go out there and romp. I hope he's ready to roll and everything's good. But it is absolutely worth noting that this is something that is not normal for the Eagles at all.
I think he's going to be okay. I understand your concerns. I'm very interested as to where the fan base is on this. So we're going to hear from some people coming up in our next segment. But you have this layout of the NFC playoff picture and how the Eagles have performed against other NFC postseason teams. I also am very interested where the Packers, who the Eagles play this weekend, of course, rank in this same standing. So, Johnny, what do you have?
And that's it too, is that the right now, if you're just talking about the NFC playoff field, If I was to say to you right off, Gunner, who's the worst of the 7 NFC playoff teams against the NFC playoff field? Who do you think had the worst record? Of the Lions, Eagles, Bucks, Vikings, Rams, Packers, Commanders?
Off the top of my head, I mean, I do know the Packers lost to the Lions twice, the Vikings twice, the Eagles. That's it. Maybe Tampa?
Wow, completely wrong.
How about this? Tampa was the best. Unbeaten.
Yeah, that's true. They beat the Eagles and the Lions.
Tampa's and they beat the Lions at Detroit. And they beat the Eagles at home. The Buccaneers were 4-0. The Commodes were 1-4. They were the worst against the playoff field. Their only win against an NFC playoff opponent was beating the Birds.
Now, don't tell B Gun because he's terrified of Commanders. Big Commander.
They're the only
back
one.
there.
Not
They're
a
the
big
only-
commander guy. I'm
Yeah.
saying Jaden Daniels has the X factor.
I think he does too. And he showed that in that fourth quarter versus the Eagles. 6-2 Lions, 5-2 Eagles. But the best team overall was the 4-0 Bucks. Minnesota was 3-3. Rams were 2-3. Packers 2-5. So they went out there. They beat the Rams earlier, and I believe they also Pack also beat the Commanders. I believe. So they were 2-5. So right there, Connor, what I'd say to you is that the Lions have been every bit what the Eagles have been every bit what the Lions are.
Yes.
But the Lions had to navigate that division with 2 against the Packers, 2 against the Vikings. So I actually think their 6-2 might be more impressive. But those of you who tell you, don't worry about the Bucs, it's just another reason to go, Tampa has done well against the 2 best teams in the conference. Tampa has done very well. And they almost beat the Lions last year in the divisional playoff game at Detroit. They had the ball in their hand at the end of the game with a chance to go win the game in Detroit.
Yeah.
And then they go and beat them this year.
That will come into account when we do our pick your playoff path later on in the show, because that does Tampa and Baker Mayfield just have this weird way of playing up to big time opponents. They do.
I think it's strange actually.
It is, but that's something that they've shown that they have a historical capability to do. Like, this team can play up to big time opponents, but meanwhile, it looks like this Green Bay Packers team cannot. And that is something that should make you feel even better about the Eagles' chances on Sunday. You can't just look at the record at this time of year. Everyone in the postseason's got a good record. You got to look at where that record came from. And Green Bay doesn't really have a leg to stand on compared to some of the other major postseason players in the NFC picture, including the Eagles. There's no doubts that the Eagles can beat a postseason opponent. If you're a Green Bay fan, you probably have some healthy doubts. And that should make us feel good about Sunday. So coming up, we're going to get some people's reaction to that A.J. Brown situation and the conversation Johnny and I have been going back and forth on, how concerned you are about that. And, John, you're not the only one with some numbers.
Uh-oh.
I actually did a little bit of number checking myself.
You
I can't
nerd,
even
you.
say it because I'm not used to doing it. Is Josh Jacobs really as dangerous as we think he is? There's some numbers that would say he's
I'm tantalized
absolutely
by this
not.
one.
We will
wow.
discuss coming up next. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. Johnny Stats to my left and Brennan Gunn on the board. We're back after this here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hurts is a full go, but his top target is not. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 down at the Lincoln. The main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday, Jalen Hurts was listed as a full participant at yesterday's practice, so it looks like he is officially good to go and will be on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, though, A.J. Brown did not practice yesterday. He is dealing with a knee injury, but he is expected to be on the field on Sunday as of right now, per Jeff McClain. All this talk about the offense and its players, but Matt Ryan, who joined the show yesterday, said the defense could be more important for the Birds.
More importantly, it's how they play defense and how they play defense the second half of the season. I think the combination of being able to run the football really well, impose your will on the offensive side of the ball, but play defense the way that they have, I think those two go hand in hand.
The Sixers host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can catch that game live right here on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, the team did announce yesterday officially that Jared McKean is done for the season with the meniscus. The Flyers fell to the Dallas Stars last night 4-1, and the Phillies agreed to a one-year contract and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Call Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sixers All Access. A preview of tonight's game. Coming up tonight. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey guys, Andrew, football fans, buckle up because for the first time ever, we've got 5 straight days of playoff football in college and the pros. And FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is celebrating with a great playoff payoff. That's a no-sweat same-game parlay every day for all 5 days. That's amazing. A no-sweat SGP, you can combine your bets from the same game for a chance at a bigger payout. And if it doesn't hit, well, you're getting your bonus bets back. So not only do we have 5 straight days of playoff football between college and the pros, that's also 5 chances to win big. So just visit FanDuel.com/fanatic to be a part of this epic run. That's FanDuel.com/fanatic. It's the great playoff payoff, and it's only on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as a non-withdrawable bonus. Bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you're never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you are injured in an accident, we'll work quickly and tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say we only get paid when your case is over and you get paid, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Don't miss 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Ladder 15 on Samsung Street in Center City on Sunday at 4 p.m. Presented by Corona. Watch the game with Ricky Bell and Tyrone and enjoy $5 Corona Extra and Corona Premier bottles. Come out to Ladder 15 on Sunday at 4 p.m. and enter for your chance to win exclusive football prizes. Corona is the official sponsor of 97.5 The Fanatic's Birds playoff watch party. Visit 97.5thefanatic.com for more information.
Through the holidays, you may have thought, one day soon, I'll get back to all the things I put off for the holidays. Well, one day soon is here, and so is Macy's One Day Sale, with specials on everything you want and need right now, like 25 to 40% off active gear from Adidas, Reebok, and the North Face. With deals this good, you can treat yourself to this, that, and anything else you've been eyeing. It's time to seize your one day soon, because this one day sale is going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to Staples.
I am so pumped. My business is going to kill it this year.
Awesome. How can I help?
First, a new computer.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you save big on tech.
And new posters.
Save on custom printing, too.
And,
a new chair?
A chair? Who has time to sit?
Maybe all your new clients?
Now you're talking.
With Staples Home and Office Hot Deals, you'll find huge savings on custom prints, storage, chairs, and tech. And now save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1.
Hey, it's John Kincade for Landis Block and Concrete. You know they're the go-to place to create your jaw-dropping backyard paradise, but did you know that it's also the place to keep it looking brand new? Landis Block offers top-quality cleaners and sealers to maintain the fresh, impressive look. From durable pavers to elegant stucco and bricks, Landis Block has everything you're going to need to keep your backyard looking immaculate, season after season. Visit LandisBC.com. Get inspired on what you want to build or what you want to maintain. Landis Block, your outdoor paradise isn't just a dream, it'll be a reality that you can maintain effortlessly.
Score big savings at A&T Subaru with a low payment lease on a 2025 Subaru Crosstrek. Just $282 per month for 36 months with $2282 due at signing. Check out Foresters, Outbacks, Ascents, and Solterras that all come with Subaru's legendary Go in the Snow symmetrical all-wheel drive standard.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, owner of A&T Subaru. Great deals are closer than you think off Route 309 in Sellersville.
Shop atsubaru.net.
Then SA2-07318, MSRP 28,138, 10K miles per year, no security deposit with approved Subaru Tier 1 credit plus tax and tags.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, so Are the fans as concerned as John Kincade when it comes to this A.J. Brown situation? That is something that we're going to find out this segment. And
I'm not sure they will be, but the smart ones will be. I'm going to tell you right now, the smart one, not to poison the well, but the smart ones will be.
Not to bias the audience. One of the first fights on Kincade and Salciunas was about a skewed poll that we had. And now all of a sudden, John's trying to skew the whole responses. We'll see what the callers have. Phone line, text line, you can chime in 610-632-0975. We've been talking about the A.J. Brown situation all morning so far because he missed practice yesterday, dealing with rest and knee injury management. We will see how much it affects him on Sunday. The assumption, by all reports, is that he's still going to play.
Sure.
But we will see what his injury designation is on the report that comes out today after practice. There's a lot of stuff to keep an eye on with the Birds, with Jalen Hurts coming off concussion protocol. He was a full participant yesterday, by the way. But A.J. Brown now missed practice. How does that change things? How worried are you about it?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, so he started practice Wednesday and
he had to leave.
Through. Yes.
And then he misses the Thursday practice, which is the important one. Wednesday's the one they've been using as the maintenance day for the people they've been resting.
Right.
Thursday one, they then bring those players back and they practice because the Thursday practice does matter.
But if there's any doubt in the back of your mind saying practicing may hurt A.J. Brown's chances to be available, saying wear and tear could bother the knee more than just sitting him down, in the postseason, I think you got to take that chance. And it says nothing about his guarantee to be
absolutely not
ready for Sunday, effective on Sunday. We both think he'll play, but in what capacity will he be available to help the team? That's something that we're not going to find out till 4:30 on Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field. So, B-Gun, what do we have on the text line today on the A.J. Brown situation?
Yeah, we got Christoph in Neptune, New Jersey checking in. He says, Christoph, yeah.
Love that.
Cool
That's a
name
great
right there.
name.
Shout out to Christoph. He says, I'm not extremely worried based off the games this season where AJ had not played and had barely any impact on the team, and this team still won, and everybody else performed a la the Washington game or the Jaguars game.
When AJ misses, this team isn't good, though.
Yeah, they're 2 of their 3 losses came with A.J. Brown not on the field.
And they really didn't look good. I mean, don't Pollyanna this thing is what I'm saying to you as fans. Do not just shrug this off and go, this is not a story. Oh, my God, it's not a story. He's A.J. Brown. I'm telling you right now, missing the Wednesday and Thursday practice, it matters. It matters. Have a mild, at least, if you don't have a mild level of concern, you are absolutely just fooling yourself. You've got to have a mild level. We'll talk to Andrew DiCecco, see how concerned he is, because he's there for those Thursday practices every week.
Yeah.
And he'll tell us a little bit later on what he thinks about it.
I'll tell you what
His answer may be completely different.
I said this earlier in the week when it came to the Jalen Hurts thing and his availability to play. Like, my concern for this is so mild. If you put it on a buffalo wing, I wouldn't need a glass of milk after. I'm going to be fine.
Boneless wing, though, in your case.
I don't drink milk. No chicken nuggets.
Why would you?
There
put
are
a
no
bone in a
such thing
perfectly
as
good
boneless
chicken?
wings.
It's not worth it to eat around the bone. That's my personal opinion. It's not a major concern for me. It's not a spicy concern. It's a mild concern. What else do we have on the text line?
Yeah, we got somebody checking in. No name on this one, but he wants to remind John of his ATL days. He says John must have forgotten from his ATL days that Julio Jones never practiced, and he still played well every week. AJ will be good. Go Birds.
Except when Julio Jones, it was freaking Club Med for him down there. And I constantly rode him on that.
To a Hall of Fame career.
And no, he came in there and he created his own rules. And then Tony Gonzalez came to town, and Tony Gonzalez then was like, wait a minute, Julio doesn't have to practice? Well, then I don't want to practice. Literally, it was
another Hall of Fame career.
It was just but it was guys just saying they don't want to work. And it may be why neither of them got a ring in Atlanta, is all I'm going to say. The work ethic under there was extremely soft.
Right, but this isn't work ethic. This is
AJ
and ability to be effective without practice.
A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are completely different animals.
Right.
A.J. Brown is an animal. Julio likes showing up on game day. That's what he did. A.J. Brown's a beast.
Right, and I think he's going to be effective enough on Sunday.
I hope
if
so.
He's out there. We believe he's going to be out there.
No, I believe he's going to be out there.
I think when this game ends Sunday, A.J. Brown will not be a major part of our concerns. I think the most concerning thing about this is it's pre-wild card weekend. and how does this progress
linger
as we go through?
Like, there's a month left of the season, fingers crossed. Like, it's going to be something he's going to be dealing with the rest of the way, probably.
Like, I'm not worried about missing practice on Thursday. I'm worried about, is A.J. Brown going to be hampered throughout this postseason run? And if he is, how much does that limit the overall ceiling? I don't think that the Eagles were A.J. Brown better than the Green Bay Packers. Like, I think they are multiple players better than the Green Bay Packers, and that's not to say anything about A.J. Brown's contributions to the team. It's just to say that I think they can still win this game and win it comfortably as long as A.J. Brown is at least on the field. I do want to remind you, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Now,
that's a mouthful.
It is, but legally obligated to do it.
You are. Very good.
Now, as we reach the 7 o'clock hour, I do want to give you a little heads up of what we have going on the show today. So Andrew DiCecco is going to give us his to check in at 8:25. Can't be in studio for the full hour because he's still fighting off the flu.
He's already got the flu because patient 0, Andrew Salciunas, took him out. Do you think DiCecco is going to lean more towards me or more towards you today?
It's interesting
on
because
this AJ thing.
Normally, I would say, I don't know where he's going to go because normally he's so logical and rational based on
well, that's how they programmed him at the factory.
Yeah, but he hasn't been able to get down to the facility because he's been sick. So I'm sure he's been texting people and checking in. I don't have a sense. I would like to think he's more like me, but he also values A.J. Brown, and he knows how much these players count on him. So it's up in the air, honestly. I don't know where Andrew DiCecco is going to go.
So you got to be here to listen to it. We'll find out.
You do. We also have 2 pairs of Sixers tickets to give away during today's show. So they're going to be Sixers tickets to the game coming up Tuesday, the 14th, this coming Tuesday, versus Oklahoma City. A great game, a great opponent at the Wells Fargo Center. We're going to do Know the DiCecco for both of those pairs of tickets.
Wow, that's good. I like that.
So that's a big-time interview coming up at 8:25.
And we thank the Sixers for this because the winner of the second pair of tickets, you may actually get to dress. You may get to dress for the game. It depends on if Joel Embiid's going to show up and play.
I don't think you want to dress playing against that Oklahoma City.
Not playing
team.
Tonight again. Shocker.
Yeah, well, that's what's sprayed. That's something we'll worry about when the Eagles season is done. We got a playoff game to worry about here in Philadelphia. The other thing that we have, Andrew Salciunas is going to check in with us at 8:10.
Patient 0 is calling?
Yes, he's getting restless. He would love to be here, but he cannot because he's fighting off the flu as well. There's only one guy on that pregame show that did not end up with the flu, and he's yours truly. So
seriously, who was the engineer for the broadcast?
I'm trying
on site. Do you remember?
I do not recall.
Did they fall ill too?
I don't know.
It's that Disney on Ice.
Listen, I guess I'm just built different then. Disney on Ice,
Salciunas went to Disney on Ice, and that is a cesspool of germs.
Can't stop me.
Sniffling kids and coughing and hacking.
Now, a question I have is, can you stop Josh Jacobs? He has been a huge part of the Green Bay Packers offense this year. He is one of the better running backs in football. He's put together a great season going to Green Bay from the Las Vegas Raiders previously. Now, the question is, how dangerous is he on Sunday? And I think throughout the week, we've had this conversation of, Josh Jacobs is the guy that you're going to have to stop from beating you, make Jordan Love beat you. These are conversations we've had. I looked at some numbers, Johnny. And
I'm proud of you on this. I love this.
It's not fair to compare anybody to the year that Saquon Barkley is having. But the good news is we kind of can because Saquon Barkley is going to be in the backfield for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. So it's a fair apples-to-apples comparison for the 2 running backs in this game. But I want you to think about something. So Josh Jacobs has had a strong year. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns. He's been a really big part of the Green Bay Packers offense. The comparison to what Saquon Barkley has done as far as explosive plays are concerned, it's not even a comparison.
So it doesn't even exist in your mind.
So Josh Jacobs has 1,329 total rushing yards. Saquon Barkley, 2,005, as we know. That's a major discrepancy, nearly 700 yards of difference. And Josh Jacobs is a guy that's in the top 5 in the NFL in rushing yards.
Which is incredible when you think about it.
That there's 700 yards of difference between that.
That's wild.
Is nuts. Now, 20-plus yard runs. Saquon Barkley has 17 runs of 20 or more yards.
Okay, that's wild.
Which is nuts. Josh Jacobs, any guesses, boys?
3.
A little bit more than that.
6.
He has 7.
Okay.
There's one more stat that shows up when you look up rushing leaders in the NFL, just on the NFL's main page. So you can see this from the statistics point of view. Number of rushes of 40-plus yards.
How many does Saquon have? 5?
He has 7. He has many rushing yard gains of 40 or more yards as Josh Jacobs does 20 or more. That's nuts.
Okay, that is nuts. Now, do you think that's a product of the Eagles' offensive line?
Possibly.
You think it's a whole combo?
I mean,
it's the kind of holes they bust.
Yeah, and Saquon Barkley has that second-level speed once he gets there. I don't know if Josh Jacobs has that. He's a little bit of a thumper.
Well, the numbers would say he doesn't, because do you know how many times Josh Jacobs has had a run over 40 yards this year?
1.
Lower, Johnny.
No.
His long on the year is 38 yards. He has no rushes over 40 on the season.
All right, Connor Thomas just made me happy this morning. It's nice. I like that.
If you're worried about Josh Jacobs like breaking one to the house to kill this team, it's not happening.
But he sort of isn't even the guy who's going to hit the double to the gap.
No, dude.
That's gonna clear the bases or anything.
On the flip side, does it concern you if the Packers somehow get a lead and he does rush? He's top 5 in the league. They can just keep getting downhill, 4 yards a pop, 4 yards a pop, 4 yards a pop.
I don't think he'll be able to do that against this defense.
Right, because that's what this defense wants you to do. Vic Fangio style
defense. That's what they would hope.
They say no big plays. You can get 4 all you want. You can get 6 all you want. But man, if you're not going to break a big one, you're not going to beat us.
All right, Connor, you made people's mornings with that one.
I hope
I
so.
did not see that coming.
It's something, listen.
And I'm pissed that I didn't find it earlier in the week.
You got to turn over every stone. I know you said your eye doctor said your vision's getting better.
She did. Listen. She said I have a better prescription. I'm getting the
20 that third eye
over
vision
here.
like Connor Thomas.
That's right,
over there.
baby. That's why I always wear the hat to hide the third eye up there. I see the Matrix. No, but you shouldn't be worried as much about Josh Jacobs as I think some people are.
That's a great dig on your part. Excellent.
And everything we see about this game should make you more and more confident about the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to look a little bit further ahead. Maybe this is presumptuous of us, but
Connor.
It's time to pick your playoff path. And John Kincade is going to lead the Choose Your Own Adventure that Brendan Gunn and I are going to go down, and he's going to give us his playoff path as well.
And I want to see if it matches.
We will find out how much it does. Coming up next, I'm Connor Thomas sitting in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade to my left. Brendan Gunn on the board. More Kincade and Salciunas comes your way next year on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Andrew DiCecco.
When you look at what the Eagles have, they are the top defense in the NFL. They have a very...
fun. I'm excited for this little exercise we're about to do with John Kincade, telling us to pick our postseason path. So we're going to get into that in just a second. By the way, I'm Connor Thomas. If you're listening for Andrew Salciunas, he is still out sick with the flu. He will be calling in at 8:10, so he can get a little bit of time in with us before the game this weekend. He also, I assume, will be back on the pregame show, the Birds Insider pregame show on Sunday, that we'll all be a part of. Me, him, Bill Colarulo. Everybody on the show ended up getting sick, so, well, besides yours truly. But we'll hopefully have everyone back ready by then. It has been a flu-heavy week here at 97.5. But we'll talk to Salciunas coming up. I'm filling in for him today. Brendan Gunn on the board in my usual spot. Real quick, though, before we get to this pick your playoff path, I want to remind people the big conversation of the day. If you have not seen the news yet, if you're just waking up, turning on the radio, hitting the app, well, A.J. Brown missed practice yesterday. Wednesday, he left practice very early. Like, he practiced for 10, 15 minutes and left practice with a knee issue. Now, part of what's showing up on the injury report is also rest. So it's not just, hey, he's got this knee injury, he's going to miss.
He's had a week. He just had 2 weeks off.
Right.
The idea that it's the rest is the real issue is preposterous.
Well, you take a nap for 2 hours. I take a nap for 6 hours. I mean, some people take more rest than others, and some situations take more rest than others. I'm just saying that the fact that they're putting rest on there keeps a very open door for him to be available to play on Sunday. It doesn't mean that the knee isn't bothering him. It doesn't mean that he might be limited, or might not be limited, rather. It's probably a good indication that he'll be available Sunday.
I don't think there's any, Connor, and I don't want to alarm. I think there's no chance that he's not on the field playing on Sunday. None.
Right.
But this tells me he's not healthy. He is not healthy.
But to
There's something going on.
But to
we
what
won't
level?
know till we see him.
Exactly.
Won't know till we see it.
So the question is, how concerned are you? How worried are you about A.J. Brown's status? I want to take this call real quick, and then we'll get to the playoff path. But you can join in 610-632-0975. Call in, text in. Let's go to Justin on a cell. Justin, you're live here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, buddy.
It's going good, Justin.
Hey, man. Birds fan out in Kentucky, man. I love it out here.
Oh,
awesome.
I love the birds.
That's right, baby. Bring me some whiskey.
Near Louisville or near Lexington?
Near Louisville.
Oh, man. Go to I got a restaurant for you. I'll tell you later. Go on.
All right, Justin. So are you worried about A.J.?
I'm not, man. I'll tell you why. I mean, you look back at the game we played the Packers the first time, A.J. Brown had over 100 yards. I get that. But Devontae Smith almost had 100 himself that game. So I don't think they're going to be able to guard him any more than they did in the first game. And our defense, man, I mean, we've gotten better. And we gave up over 300 yards that game. And, but our defense has improved big time. But I think Goddard and Kincade have a great game this weekend.
You see both of the tight ends do.
I think Goddard's going to show big. I think he's been off. He's had he's going to be coming out. I think trying to prove himself. I think he's going to have a big game.
Well, if you want to taste of Philly, by the way, in Louisville, Justin, Vincenzo's.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to Vincenzo's, it's real South Philly. It's guys from South Philly that have a restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky. You'll love it.
I'm going to check it out then.
Vincenzo's. Go check it out.
All right, sounds
Thanks,
good.
man.
But don't do it Sunday 4:30 because we got a playoff game.
Do
Do
it
it pregame. Justin, thank you for the
little
call.
Sunday brunch after church or something.
I love a little Southern drawl talking birds.
It's
so
good.
Justin's not too worried about it. Now, again, I think for this Sunday, it's not a major concern. But going forward, a long playoff
And what
path,
are you basing that on?
I just don't think you need him to beat the Packers. Like, I think
So you don't need him to beat the Packers.
You're
Okay.
significantly better than this team. You can be cautious. You can use
Okay.
Devontae Smith. You can run Saquon Barkley. Take care of A.J. Brown. Just put him out there. Let him do what he can do. You can beat this team. And then when we start to deal with the tougher postseason opponents and we get longer into this postseason path, that's when I start to say, okay, how healthy is he? But speaking of the postseason path, you want us to pick ours, John.
Okay, now here's how the exercise is going to work. I'm going to ask you and Brendan Gunn. You're both going to give me what your logical path is you believe the Eagles are going to have to take to get to the Super Bowl. So it's what you think is going to happen. I will give you mine. I believe the Eagles will win on Sunday. I believe that the Bucs are going to beat the Commanders. The minute the Bucs beat the Commanders Sunday night, we will know that it's Eagles-Bucks next week in the divisional playoff round. Then the logical mind tells me the Lions would then beat the Vikings or the Rams, whoever it is.
Right.
Vikings or the Rams, it doesn't matter. And the Lions would host the NFC title game. The Eagles will have to go to Detroit to win. That's what my logical mind tells me. What I want to happen, what I will root to happen, is for the Bucks to be knocked out by the Commodes, the Rams to beat the Vikings, so the Eagles would play the Rams in Philly, and then for the Commanders to somehow upset Detroit. That would be my dream, is that you get the 3 home games. Okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so my logical one. Your logical one.
My logical one is exactly the same as yours.
Eagles
will
Bucks,
play the Buccaneers after
because the
knocking off
Bucks beat the Commanders.
Yes.
Okay.
Todd Bowles has got something set up for Jaden Daniels. He has to.
So the Bucks take care of the Commanders, so we will know by Monday morning Bucks-Eagles. Okay?
Yes.
Then do the Lions get upset by the Rams or the Vikings? Who do you think wins that one?
I think the Rams beat the Vikings.
Okay, so you do too.
I do.
You and Mikey miss.
I think the Rams are beating the Vikings. They already have this year. I think that Rams team is dangerous, but not enough to go into Detroit and win that game. I think it's Eagles-Lions, and I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
The game being in Arizona, getting moved, in case you didn't know that last night, they moved the game from Los Angeles to Arizona for Monday night. Not having a home field. Not that the Rams have that
They
much
don't
of a
really
home field.
have home field advantage.
The Rams did have around 40,000 seats sold within the L.A. community.
Yeah. So I don't think it makes. I think they're used to playing in a place where there's not really an advantage one way or another. If it was the Eagles playing at a neutral site, big deal. Rams, not as much.
Go and do your Strathaven homework and have your logical and your. It's not because my want is never going to happen. But if it did, I honestly I would do the Riddler laugh for a week.
Yeah,
and that would just be. Spectacular.
I don't think there's any way, but it would be nice. I think the logical path is the more likely path, and Brendan Gunn, we'll see if he agrees with ours, because we're in lockstep on this one, Johnny. Surprisingly enough, because we haven't been on the A.J. Brown situation, but we are on this one. We'll see if Mr. Fighting Irish back there will join us coming up. And we're also going to do a quick check-in on the quarterback situation heading into Sunday, because there had been injury questions about both Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. What is the latest on the signal callers on the offensive side of the ball? We will give you that update next. I'm Connor Thomas, sitting in for Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade, alongside me and Brendan Gunn on the board. We're back from work, Kincade and Salciunas, after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hurts is back, but his top target is out. Or not for the game, but I'll let you know in a minute. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 down at the Link. And the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. While yesterday Jalen Hurts was listed as a full participant at yesterday's practice, so it looks like he's going to be good to go and on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, though, A.J. Brown did not practice yesterday. He's dealing with a knee injury, but he is expected to at least be on the field on Sunday as of right now, per Jeff McClain. All this talk about the Eagles offense and its players, but Matt Ryan, who joined the show yesterday, said the defense could be more important for the Birds this postseason run.
More importantly, it's how they play defense and how they play defense the second half of the season. I think the combination of being able to run the football really well, impose your will on the offensive side of the ball, but play defense the way that they have, I think those two go hand in hand.
The Sixers host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can listen to that game live right here on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, the team did officially announce yesterday that Jared McCain is done for the season with the meniscus. The Flyers fell to the Dallas Stars last night 4-1, and the Phillies agreed to one-year contracts and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a domestic litigation firm. Is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com today. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
about to get Brendan Gunn's predicted postseason path for the Philadelphia Eagles, the logical one, and also what he wants to see happen. But John's a little bit mad at me right now. Not really mad.
No,
but
I got to tell you is that I consider you, and I've said this many times in the air, I consider Connor Thomas to be one of the nicest souls that I have ever crossed paths with in the world.
But you may be reconsidering.
But I am reconsidering it right now because you're being a bit of a D today.
Well, I said I love this morning because I get to send a couple texts to some Penn State fans that I'm friends with and be like, oh, what happened in the game last night? I went to bed. I missed it.
Okay, here's my policy. Eagles are out of the playoffs. Eagles have a crappy season. And friends that I know that are Dallas fans. And then Dallas loses. I do not mock the Cowboys. I do not go, nice Cowboy loss, another one.
That's fair.
No, my team was crappy. I don't deserve to have any kind of big mouth about it. Now, when the Birds win the division and the Cowboys are in distress, I love it. I love mocking them. That's different. I think when your team, or if you don't have a dog in the fight, like today, there are some Penn State people that I know that are completely insufferable about Penn State. I'm not going to mock them today, though. Because that was a great game. They played really, really well, and their quarterback made a stupid decision at a critical time, and it lost them the game.
Yeah.
It's not on James Franklin. They played really well, and they should be damn proud of the way that.
Well, it's ironic. All the friends you guys are talking about, they had just as many catches as the Penn State wide receivers last night.
Wow, we got to go there. Save it for the 9 o'clock hour. But here's the thing.
You know what I mean? I don't believe you mock. I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
mocking people after a big loss like that,
My brother's a Vikings fan. If they lose a big game, whether it's against the Eagles or not, whether the Eagles had a good year or not, I'm making fun of him.
Okay, it's your brother.
I have a buddy who's a Saints fan.
I'm different.
Talking trash.
Okay, it's a little different with your brother.
No, because they're going to come after me when the Eagles lose, whether their team is good or not. So I'm going to come after them.
Then they're violators of my same rule. Once you're out,
but that's just sports fandom and friendship. You make fun of your friends when their team loses. They make fun of you when your team loses.
See, now
that's the basis for friendship.
I'll tell you this: is don't the day after. No.
Listen, man, you got to wear it if you're going to dish it out, and hopefully we're not doing that for the Eagles this year because hopefully they're heading to New Orleans into a Super Bowl title. But what's that path going to be? I gave you mine. You gave me yours.
And we both had the same path.
We did.
Of that the logical path. Eagles win this weekend. You and I both have the Bucks beating the Commanders. So it'll be Eagles-Bucks next week. And I don't believe that the Vikings or the Rams would go into Detroit and beat them.
No, we do not. Now, sitting in the producer studio today, we have Jaden Daniels' #1 fan. He has said that Jaden Daniels, he has more faith in him in the postseason than Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer, Matthew Stafford. That is what Brendan Gunn has said on these airwaves. So I have a feeling his path may be a little different.
My preferred path or my logical path first?
Your logical path.
Logical, I really do think the Commanders are going to go up, upset the Bucks down there in Tampa.
So you do.
And then I think the Vikings.
That means that guarantees, if the Eagles win, that guarantees the Commanders go to Detroit.
Yes. And then I think the Vikings are going to win out in Phoenix, wherever it's being played now. So I think we're getting the Vikings, and then I think we're getting the Lions.
So you think it's going to be they're going to have to do a sweep
of the NFC North.
Wow.
That's tough.
Your expected path is different than ours. Now the question is, would you lose more sleep, Connor, if it's Vikings coming in here next week, or if it's the Bucks?
I'd lose more sleep over the Vikings.
I lose more over the Bucks.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely lose.
Brian Flores scares me.
If you're not scared by what the Tampa Bay Bucks have done to Jalen Hurts in his career, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, 2 of those without A.J. Brown. We just talked about that record.
And more importantly, you're talking about the fact that I think Baker Mayfield has a 100% chance of being better in a big game than Sam Darnold.
See, I see worlds where Baker Mayfield goes out there and wins a wild card game, can win one playoff game. I can never see Baker Mayfield putting a string together and going on a run.
Well, he had again last year. He had the ball in his hand at Detroit to go beat them.
They almost knocked off the Lions.
Yeah, they're tough. They're going to be tough.
After stomping on the Eagles.
Now,
right now,
he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but is he a guy that could play in the NFC Championship game one of these years? I don't think that's crazy to say.
I don't either.
But We'll see. Listen, I would hate to have the all NFC North path. That seems to be incredibly difficult.
Mathematically, that might be the hardest one ever. You're facing the first wild card team ever with 14 wins, and then you'd have to get the Lions, too, who have 15.
You'd play back-to-back 14-win teams, one of those on the road, after playing a Green Bay team that's pretty darn solid themselves. Like, that would be a nightmare.
It would be to me, that's a brutal path, but the Bucs are going to give me so much agita.
Yeah, but let's remember, the Eagles are a 14-win team as well. The Buccaneers can't say that. The Packers can't say that. Only two other teams in your conference can say that, and one of those is a wild card team that could get knocked off on the road this week in Minnesota. So, as tough as the path can be, nobody's looking at the Eagles gearing up to play them. That's the one thing we got to remember through all of this. So, very interesting. We have very similar paths. I mean, the real decider.
People can also, can text in just a 3 of what they think and what they want, if they'd like to.
Please do. 610-632-0975 is the phone number to join in on the text line, or the phone line if you'd like to call us as well. I mean, the real point where, if this is a locomotive, the real point where the tracks can shift, where they have that little switch where it goes back and forth between two tracks, is whether the Commanders or Buccaneers win in their matchup. We're going to talk a little bit later on in the show about what you're going to be watching this weekend outside of the Eagles-Packers, what the game that intrigues you most. Because the beautiful thing about playoff football is you no longer have to make the decision of big screen, little screen, keep your eye on this scoreboard, that scoreboard. They're all standalone games.
Which is awesome.
So we'll talk about that coming up, too, and maybe that'll show us a little bit of what people's preferred playoff paths are based on who they'll be watching this weekend. Now, I do want to do this quick check-in because we've had a lot of Jalen Hurts talk this week.
Ton of it.
And it's probably crazy to some people if they wake up today and they turn on Kincade and Salciunas and they're like, they haven't really brought up the quarterbacks at all. And this was such a big story. So I want to do just a quick check-in. The reason we're not talking about it a lot is because Jalen Hurts was back to a full participant in practice yesterday. He was good to go. So he is ready for Sunday. No limitations. We'll see about the rust factor, but the concussion, the finger, neither of those are going to keep him out of this game Sunday, as we all on this show expected all week long. Jordan Love, on the other hand, well, he said on Wednesday, yeah, we'll see. I'm hopeful I play in the game on Sunday against the Eagles. He was a full participant at practice for the Green Bay Packers yesterday. He is going to be good to go, at least to be on the field. Now, both of these guys, we'll see what they look like. Neither of them, I should say, are coming in like guns blazing, 100%, no injury whatsoever. We'll see what Jordan Love looks like with the problem with his throwing arm on Sunday, but both guys are going to be good to go.
The whole idea, too, I read a thing yesterday from one of the Green Bay reporters about the nerve sensitivity and the feel and the touch. That's got to affect you.
I mean, it has to.
And in a wind chill in the game, a wind chill of 24 degrees or 23 degrees, it's got to be. That's got to hurt even more.
Yeah,
it's
not even like hurt. Right? What I'd be more worried about, because I had this issue when I used to pitch, so I know it's like kind of just throw stuff like that. I'd be more worried about the numb feeling. When it's cold out and you already don't have the same feeling in your hands, and then you also have the issue of like something going on where you don't feel your arm as well or your hand or fingers as well as you normally do. I'd be more worried about the cold temperatures on Sunday. It's not going to be that cold on Sunday. It's
not going to be. It's not going to be bitter.
40-something, 30s.
No, 40s.
I think the high is 40-something on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that much by game time. Remember, it's sunset.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Like,
I'll give you the sunset on Sunday.
Okay,
Let's
Weatherman Johnny's got.
No, I mean
it's
sunset matters.
I'm sure.
The high temperature is 36 on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're saying now. 36, and we're talking about. Let me get it to you here. It'll be by game time temperature is supposed to be right around freezing with a wind chill in the high 20s.
Okay. So, listen, that's
wind
cold.
chill in the high 20s.
But for a team that plays in Lambeau and another team that plays here in Philly and has played postseason games in the bitter cold before, they'll be able to handle it. I just look at that and I say, okay, both those guys are ready to go. You can't run into this game saying, well, we can count on Jordan Love not being at his best or Jalen Hurts not being at his best. You have to assume that these guys are going to step on the field ready to make a difference for their teams, and that's probably how you would want it if you're rooting for a good playoff matchup between the two. Like, you want to see the quarterbacks at least ready to go. I'd rather see that than I don't want Malik Willis. Like,
I do. No, I would love Malik Willis.
Listen, I know.
I would love. What? Are you kidding me? Did you just say that?
It would
this
help
whole
the Eagles.
city would love Malik Willis.
It would help the Eagles' chances
Yes,
significantly.
yes, it would be wonderful.
The Eagles would win this game by 40. I want to
Guess
see
what?
them.
That's fine. No, you don't.
I want
No,
to see
you
them cut
don't.
their teeth.
No,
I
you
want to see
don't.
this team dominate Jordan Love and the Packers because I know they're capable.
When
of
you
it.
get married and you have a kid someday, you can watch your kid cut its teeth. You don't need to see it Sunday. Let's just get it out of here.
Whatever we want to see, it will be Jordan Love on Sunday taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. He is ready and available for the game. So, speaking of the other things that you're going to be watching, we're going to do that coming up. I didn't realize we had that coming up next. But what's the number one game that you're going to be watching outside of Eagles-Packers this weekend? Is it Eagles related? Is it entertainment related? Is it college or professional? Because we got another big college game tomorrow night. You can go anywhere with this one, but I'm interested in what John and Brendan have to say, so we'll have that conversation coming up next in a huge football weekend. It's obviously highlighted by Birds Packers. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade to my left, Brendan Gunn on the board. We're back from work Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
How many teams in the NFL?
drawing ever closer to a major football game here in Philadelphia. The Eagles taking on the Packers Sunday, 4:30 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. But it's not the only big game this weekend. And yes, of course, we're focused on the Eagles. We've been talking about it all day as far as the A.J. Brown injury situation. How concerned are you about him missing practice with knee injury management? I know that sounds like a page out of the Sixers book, but it's how the Eagles are handling A.J. Brown.
Joel Embiid would miss 3 months with this.
Hey, man.
Let's be honest.
And we never know the answer.
Yeah, we'd never know the answer.
And
fair
commentary.
AJ Brown will just shake this thing off. But
hopefully.
It's scary. This is scary, dude.
I'm less scared than you are, but I'm not going to say that this is absolutely nothing. Like, this is not just something that will go away after this week, I don't think. I don't think it'll be Eagles beat the Packers.
This will
be
a story you're saying that we're talking about.
Yeah, we just keep an eye on it. I think it'll be like the Wednesday, maybe Thursday off through the postseason as long as this run goes. And if that's how you need to manage it to keep A.J. Brown healthy, that's what you do.
I know our man Dave Spadero listens sometimes, my old college classmate. I have healing waters from Lourdes.
Okay.
That one of my classmates got me when I was ill.
Gotcha.
Some holy water blessed at Lourdes. I'm willing to bring it to AJ's locker and just sprinkle. Say, AJ, sprinkle a little of this on.
See,
take care of you.
I don't think that this is worthy of the healing waters. I think there may be something further down the line. I think you got to save the healing waters because you can't use it twice. You got to use all of it for it to work, right?
No. You can use some of it. Sure, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So
I don't think they're the healing waters. I don't think there's a rule book on it, but I think it's just
they don't
more
come
than
with
just
like a
having
pamphlet
it.
or anything.
No.
Okay.
I used to just bless myself with it. I liked it.
I think there will be bigger concerns through the postseason than what we're dealing with A.J. Brown right now. Maybe that's short-sighted. Maybe that's assuming certain things about how this path's going to be and how long the Eagles are going to go on this run for. I do think it's going to be a run that ends with them in New Orleans. But I can't get concerned about an injury when I'm pretty confident, like 99.9% confident the player will be on the field on Sunday. If that's the case,
and I think he will be
enough.
too. It's just a matter. Well, they see that's where we just differ. Is that the idea? Well, if he's there and it's good enough. I can't say that.
Listen, I feel pretty comfortable saying
if he's there on the field, he could be on there on the field. He could be nursing a potential major injury.
Right, but
that he's trying to fight through.
Green Bay's as in the dark as we are.
Okay,
they're not sending the Packers a text message and be like, "Hey guys, AJ is actually seriously injured.
Okay,
don't press him at the line. Don't worry about him on Sunday.
Sure,
he's not going to do anything. Like they're going to see AJ Brown walk out there with the dark visor and the pink cleats, and they're going to say, this is the dude that went for 100+ and a tutty on us in week 1. We better bracket guys on him. We better roll coverage to him. And if he proves over the course of the game that he's not effective, well, they'll make that change.
And that changes everything.
But it could be too late.
No, they'll know. They'll know within 2 possessions what he's got.
2 possessions might be too late, Johnny.
Could be. We're going to wait and see.
The margin for error in a playoff game is minimal.
The way they start games, I'll be shocked if 2 possessions determines it.
That's also a fair point. So we'll see if the Birds can get off to a fast start with guys in and out of practice this week, and also having rested in Week 18. Now, we know that everyone's going to be zoned in on the Eagles game Sunday. That goes without saying. This is a near religious experience here in Philadelphia when you have a Birds postseason game at Lincoln Financial Field. But there are some other great football games going on. I mean, this is an incredible weekend for football fans in general. We had the first round or the first game of the college football semifinal last night with Notre Dame Penn State. I know a lot of people zoned in on that. Ohio State Texas tonight. You have all of the NFL postseason games throughout the weekend. So what's the number one game that you guys will be watching outside of Eagles Packers, and why?
I think the number one game to me is going to be Bucks Commanders after I get home from the stadium on Sunday night. That's the game I'm most interested in.
Because it affects the Eagles.
Yeah, because the Eagles will have advanced, hopefully. And when they advance, then you're just wondering who's going to show up. And I do believe there would be, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but the ability to have an extra day of focus on who your opponent actually is, it does matter. Because right now, they're preparing to maybe face the Bucks if they advance, to maybe face the Vikings, to maybe face the Rams. So they got 3 opportunities. It's going to be one of those 3 teams that they're going to face. So they have the advanced team, pulling tape and doing. if they knew it's the Bucs, that allows them to focus from day one. Monday morning, they're in there, they're working on the Bucs.
And any slight advantage could be the difference of the game at this point in the season. B-Gun, I know you'd love to pick your Fighting Irish, but they've already played. So what's the number one game outside of Eagles-Packers that you're going to be watching and why?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with what John said just because, we have our personal argument over it with Jaden Daniels versus Baker Mayfield, but obviously the repercussions it has on the Eagles' playoff path. But I kind of want to watch the Vikings and Rams because I want to see if the Vikings are a real team or not. They didn't look so real last week against the Lions. I want to see if Sam Darnold can bounce back from that and see if they can actually give the Lions a game if it comes to that. And maybe there's an NFC Championship game in Philly.
So here's why I agree with you, Brendan, as that's my most anticipated game of the weekend outside of Eagles-Packers. Because whoever wins in Commanders-Bucks, you're not losing to those teams. Neither of those teams are coming to Philadelphia and beating you. The Commanders wouldn't have to. They would go to Detroit. But if Tampa wins that game, they'd be coming to Philly. You're beating Tampa. Washington, I don't care what type of run Washington goes on. They're not knocking you out of this postseason. So neither of those teams, to me, are true threats to the Eagles. I'm very interested to see. If the Rams-Vikings game looks like a trash bag game, you have one team to worry about. The only team that you're focused on is Detroit when you get there. And I'd like to see if the Rams are a threat, if the Vikings look like they are collapsing after losing the 1 seed, or if they're a bona fide good team in the postseason.
I think a lot of people are starting to whisper, though, that they think Minnesota may just
fraud watch?
Be so damaged by losing. Because going from the 1 seed to the 5 seed, that's never happened before. No. In the last game of the NFL season. It's such a deflator. And then now you're preparing to go to L.A., and now you're switching gears, preparing to go to Arizona to play. Like, this could be
Monday
a mess.
night.
I've been yelling it for months, folks. That Vikings team, they're not making it there.
Well, I thought
great team, but they don't have everything you need for the postseason.
I thought they were going to be frauds though all year. So I have to apologize again to the Viking fans in the audience because all year long I kept saying I thought they were going to end up in last place. I didn't believe in them. And I was proven completely wrong.
Yeah, I'd like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. I knew what this Vikings team was going to turn into, and you're going to see on Sunday, or Monday night rather, that they just.
Weird thing is, I knew the Eagles pretty much completely, and had great confidence.
Well, yeah,
I picked the Bills to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, but this is our team, Johnny.
I understand.
You're an Eagles guy.
Yeah, but I usually do pretty I will lose more of my over/under bets this year than I won on teams over-unders that I bet.
Well, you used up all that luck on your picks, which we're going to do coming up in the 9 o'clock hour.
I'm ready for it. I'm going to keep that going.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also talk to Andrew DiCecco at 8:25, Andrew Salciunas at 8:10, and make sure you're listening to DiCecco at 8:25 because we have 2 pairs of Sixers tickets to give away in the DiCecco segment. But coming up next, we got today's headlines with Mr. National Championship Brendan Gunn in there. We're going to run through that. And see what we have. I imagine there will be a mention of some college football in it. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade to my left, Brendan Gunn on the board. We're back from work Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hurts is cleared, but what about A.J. Brown? I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs, and the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday Jalen Hurts practiced, and he was listed as a full participant, so it looks like he's going to officially be good to go and on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, though, A.J. Brown did not practice for a second straight day yesterday as he is dealing with a knee injury. He's expected to play Sunday, though, per Jeff McClain. All this talk about the offense and its players, but Matt Ryan joined the show yesterday, and he said maybe it's the defense that's most important for the Birds.
More importantly, it's how they play defense and how they play defense the second half of the season. I think the combination of being able to run the football really well, impose your will on the offensive side of the ball, but play defense the way that they have, I think those two go hand in hand.
The Sixers host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can catch that game live right here on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, the team officially announced yesterday that Jared McCain, the rookie sensation, is done for the season. season with his meniscus. The Flyers fell last night 4-1 to the Dallas Stars, and the Phillies agreed to one-year contracts and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Ladder 15 on Sansom Street in Center City this Sunday at 4 p.m. presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Batalico.
little conversation about ice skating on ponds, and I wonder if kids still do that. I used to get kicked off of ponds back in my day, but I'm sure Johnny, back in your day, being the hockey guy,
we had one on Hunt Road off of North Malin. Hunt Road used to be the spot. There was a nice and the people were kind enough
to let
all the kids play on it, play hockey on it, do whatever. And then we would go sledding on the old DuPont estate.
That's always
until Crate, which is now a place called Lissitor. But Crazy John DuPont would then shoot.
I was going to say, you weren't scared to go there before this happened?
No, this is before he had his tank and started murdering people.
What?
And did you ever see the movie Foxcatcher?
Yeah, the wrestler. Great movie.
And we would do. He would shoot at you if you would go sledding on the property. He would shoot at you with a rock pellet, like air rifle.
Builds character.
Gotta shoot your eye out, kid.
With like rock salt in an air rifle. And literally kids would have their like rock salt go through their jeans.
I would simply
tear your jeans.
Sled somewhere else.
No, the hills were amazing.
Yeah, not that amazing.
Yes, they were.
And not nearly as amazing as what it's time for now, because it is 7:56, so it's time for today's headlines with Brandon Gunn.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Yeah, so I could have made it all Notre Dame and rubbed it into people's faces, but I expected to win against a program like that. We were the favorites in that game.
Boy.
So we're going to focus on our baseball team, because right now they made a couple moves yesterday. Arbitration avoided that with a couple of guys, but who really cares about that? MLB Network is doing their top 10 right now across all positions, across teams. The Phillies come in at number 2 right now on the list. JT Realmuto 5, but this one shocks me the most.
We move up to number 6, and it is Brandon Marsh of the Philadelphia Phillies. Marsh makes the Shredders list for the second straight season.
Brandon Marsh, the 6th best center fielder in Major League Baseball. I know you guys went head-to-head on him before. What do you guys think about that?
All right, so first and foremost, Brandon Marsh is not the 6th best center fielder in Major League Baseball.
That's stupid.
Well, the other names on the list would say that he probably does deserve to be top 10.
Top 10. No,
Yes.
I thought around 10.
Which would indicate
is still as
that
higher
he's
than I would have thought.
pretty darn good baseball player, Brandon Marsh.
They
Now,
don't take defense much into account, though.
he was a Gold Glove nominee this year. That's a fact. He was a Rawlings Gold Glove nominee. You can't keep peddling this narrative that he's not a good defensive outfielder.
Now you see, now you're spinning something too. I didn't say he's not very good. I just said he's not even the best center fielder on his team, and he's not even close to it.
Okay, but the best center fielder on his team might be the best center fielder in baseball.
Well, I'm saying, Rojas, you end all discussion on that. He's not even the best center fielder on his own team.
No, you don't, John. If Barry Bonds was on the Phillies, does that make Bryce Harper not a power hitter?
Brandon Marsh is not a Gold Glove center fielder.
Okay.
He is not and
That's
again,
fair.
You spun it to he's terrible. He's not terrible, but he is not the best. He's not even close to being the best on his own team.
Here's what it also says. This is the important thing for Phillies fans, outside of that argument that we're having. The center field position is weak right now in baseball. There are not a lot of great center fielders in Major League Baseball. And what that says is if you're going to start Kepler in left and you're going to start Castellanos in right, and you're thinking, well, could they go add somebody to play center? There's not really anybody out there that you're going to be able to acquire that is like significantly better than what you have right now, to the point where it'd be worth acquiring. So the outfield is probably going to be Kepler, Marsh, Castellanos. We'll see if Rojas can steal that spot. By the way, Rojas won Rookie of the Year of the Dominican Winter League. So he hit like 297 or something over 23 games. Maybe he develops offensively. We'll see how that goes.
Another month or so until spring training and practice. But yesterday at practice, A.J. Brown was not there. He did speak to the media after, and he had some good things or not so good things to say about cheese.
You know, I have this theory about cheese. Most cheese don't be real. So all the cheese lovers out there, try to burn the cheese. And if it don't burn, do not eat it.
Okay, wait a minute. There is fake cheese.
Well, yeah.
It's in plastic.
Cheese Whiz.
No, Cheese Whiz. And there's the plastic,
cheese?
the plastic sleeves that you buy where you have to untake the plastic off of a piece
fake
of cheese.
cheese, dude.
Okay, that's fake cheese.
I love that stuff. Give me all of it.
I mean, come on now.
How do you not like cheese?
I like cheese, but I don't like fake cheese.
I love fake cheese.
Why would you have fake cheese when you can have real cheese?
Maybe more cheese and dairy in AJ's diet. He's on the field today.
Like A.J. Brown, you know why he looks like he does? Because he doesn't eat cheese that you have to peel.
I don't
You don't
think
get the Ritz
cellophane
cracker
off of.
and the fake
on.
canned cheese. And
I
do
don't
the
think
circle?
I'm fake cheese away from looking like A.J. Brown. I think there's a lot of reasons why he looks the way he does.
No, they say if he had eaten regular cheese, he'd look just like me.
Well, he's going to be eating some
Amazing.
cheese on Sunday and all the cheese heads.
Let's hope it.
So let's talk about that.
How
Love that.
worried are you about the A.J. Brown missing practice, knee injury quotient of the game going on Sunday?
I'm not necessarily so worried about it Sunday. I'm kind of with Connor. I think he's going to be out there. Now, how good can he be? I think A.J. Brown at 85% is still better than, 90% of wide receivers in the NFL. So I think him out there is going to take away from some other guys, and it's going to open some things up over the middle for Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith on the other side. A.J. Brown's out there. Everything's good to go. Now, if he's not out there, then maybe I'm a little bit concerned. Not so much for Sunday, but the run going forward.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's like it's not a hey, don't worry about it. There's nothing here. Forget about A.J. Brown ever being hurt. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for Sunday, I don't have any major concerns about this affecting the game. As long as he's out there, the Eagles are going to be good to go. Now, Johnny, I understand why you're worried about this, but I just don't see it for this week's game. Does that make sense?
That's it. No, that makes complete sense. I mean, that absolutely makes complete sense. But if I'm telling you, and I said it earlier today, in the Eagles' history, under their current head coach, Nick Sirianni, when a player doesn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, they don't play on the weekend. So this is a complete outlier. This is something they've never done
right, but
with banged up guys.
It's an outlier of a game.
When they do health maintenance on players, they give them the Wednesday. And then they'll come back for the Thursday. Because no matter what anyone will spin to you, the Thursday practice does matter. It matters. It matters to implementing game plan. It matters to how this team is prepared for action. For AJ not to practice 2 days in a row, he didn't practice Wednesday.
Yeah, he was just
it's a matter of concern. And anyone who's telling you there's nothing to see here. Oh my gosh, nothing. You're out of your mind, and I'm going to tell you flat out, you're wrong.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Now, part of the basis of your argument, like one of my issues with it, it's just postseason games can't be compared to regular season practice weeks. Like, it is a...
You could say they're potentially more important.
No, I know. Well, the games are more important, and...
Which means that your preparation for the game.
Well, having the guys available is the most important thing.
Well, availability is huge.
How many times do we have this conversation? He would have played if it was a postseason game.
We absolutely, I can tell you that last week I was flat out told that if Jalen Hurts, if they needed that Giants game for anything to get in, get better seating or otherwise, Jalen Hurts would have been out of concussion protocol and he would have been playing.
Right. That's a statement issued
you're
by
right on
every single team and every single media member over the course of the season at some point or another. Well, if this game was win or go home, they would have played. If it was a playoff game, they would have been available. We hear it all the time in every sport.
And I think you're correct.
So my thing is, like, you can't compare the practice schedule and who's available for it to the regular season, because an injury that would keep somebody out of a regular season game would not keep them out of a postseason game every time.
Okay, now I'm stealing this one from, whether it's a reason for alarm or not, from one of the Washington Commanders bloggers. If you're talking about star players and whether they play in a game, there's not star players missing that are expected to play this weekend that missed Wednesday and Thursday practice.
I got you.
There are 6 games this weekend. There's 12 teams.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
so.
normal.
A.J. Brown is the one people are like, he always playing, for God's sakes. The other Wednesday and Thursday guys are most likely out.
Right. My argument is not that this is normal and there's not anything to see here. My argument is that you can't use a regular season example for a postseason game, because the necessity of players being available, it's more necessary you have A.J. Brown for this game than anyone you've ever played. So there's a better chance of him playing through something that he would normally sit out of.
I absolutely believe, like you do, it seems, that A.J. Brown, his leg would have to be falling off.
Yeah, dude.
For him not to play. What level he can be effective at. An NFL team will sniff that out within 2 possessions, whether he's just out there to decoy or whether he truly is A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and
that changes everything for the Eagles offense.
And, dude, we may sniff it out faster. You know how much we watch this team with a critical lens.
Yeah, and you look at me, that doesn't look like AJ.
Exactly. So we'll find out on Sunday. It's not nothing, but I don't think it's as much something as you do right now. And listen, we'll be proven right or wrong.
How do you think, Brendan, because we talked about earlier, how do you think DiCecco will fall in this? As far as level of alarm with AJ missing the 2 days.
Missing the 2 days, I think it's going to raise some eyebrows a little bit on him. I don't necessarily think he's going to be overly concerned for Sunday, but I do think he'll be concerned for the overall run.
Because I don't know how the people who programmed him, what chip they put in him.
We got to put a disclaimer because we're going to talk to Andrew Salciunas coming up at 8:10. We're going to talk to Andrew DiCecco at 8:25. By the way, we have 2 pairs of tickets to the Sixers to give away during that or after that Andrew DiCecco interview based on some things that he says.
So know the real Andrew?
No, the football guy Andrew.
No football guy Andrew. Get your tickets.
But we'll put the disclaimer. Both of these guys are recovering from the flu. So if they agree with John, I'm going to assume there's something not right with their head. The sickness, they're still fighting it off.
I'm saying that patient zero who joins us next, he'll disagree with me, and I'm going to lean towards Andrew DiCecco agreeing with me.
Well, we will find out.
I don't know whether it's to my level, but he's going to more agree with me on this.
Either way, it will be a very decisive 8 o'clock hour in this conversation that we've been having. So that guy Salciunas, who's named on the show, well, he'll join us coming up next on the Comcast Business Hotline.
He has plenty to say about
does.
sports in Philly.
So I've heard, and then DiCecco after that. And we got a lot of great stuff breaking down Eagles-Packers just a couple of days away. It is nearly game day, a football Friday here on 97.5 The Fanatic, and we have been locked in on the Birds all show long. I'm Connor Thomas sitting in for the aforementioned Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade alongside me, Brendan Gunn behind the board. And we're back from work Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
because I am currently occupying the seat that he normally uses for Kincade Salciunas, and that is Andrew Salciunas, who has been out this week as he fights the flu. But he joins us now on the Comcast Business Hotline.
Do we
so
have,
Johnny,
everybody put your masks on?
I don't think we can catch it through the phone. I think we'll be okay.
Patient zero himself.
Andrew Salciunas, how are you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, you know what, John? I'm going to come over there and first kiss you on the mouth and then smack you with this patient zero nonsense. Because your theory, as much as it might sound like it's a possible one, because Disney on Ice is filled with children all over the place.
Sneezing and boogers and everything.
I will say this, thank God I was praying for this. Christy and Cooper never got sick. So, thank God.
Maybe they're just tougher than you. And both of them. That's
true. That is true.
We miss you, though, buddy.
I miss you guys. It was a hell of a week. I will tell you that was, in terms of health, the worst week of my life. I would never advise somebody to try to get the flu. That was not fun.
Had you had the vaccine, people have asked the flu shot.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, remember they brought it in?
Yeah, they had it right here at Beasley.
Yeah, you could get it in the conference
I got
room.
it. Now, the interesting thing is I was always a later flu vaccine guy. Like, I would get it, probably past the time I was supposed to get it. And I've never had it before. This year, I got it early. And, my wife was so proud of me. Like, look at you. You got it early.
And your reward is the flu.
Yeah, so, I wonder if I got it too. I don't know.
It's fine. When you get it as soon as possible, and you let it work in your body. But it's all right. We're glad to have you.
It really worked for me, didn't it?
You got the fungus among us, though. You really did. And then you wiped out two of our other premier Eagles people here on the station.
Well, it just shows how strong of a flu carrier that I am.
Yeah, that's true. You got the good stuff.
Knock out multiple bodies.
You say you're not a doctor, but we're going to ask you to play one in two circumstances for the Eagles. First and foremost, looks like Hurts is good to go. Did you have any concerns?
I ask you, sorry to jump. Are the people okay now? Until we stop with the nonsense?
Oh, my gosh. We talked about it all last week, that it was a non-story, but it got pushed by every national and some local media outlets into being a story that didn't exist.
I had a fever dream, John. I had a fever dream that this offensive lineman named Jeff Saturday went on a TV show and said, man, if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, the Eagles could get eliminated. Was that a fever dream or was that reality?
It was bad. I saw his team lose 78-0 in a scrimmage when he was a football coach in Atlanta, so really bad.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's bad. Now, as far as the A.J. Brown story, are you concerned?
No.
What's your level of concern, 1 to 10, that he is, not that he's going to play, because we all think he's going to play, but that there's something going on here that is of major concern?
Look, they said that he's been dealing with it for the last couple of weeks, and I haven't seen a drop-off of A.J. Brown by any means. I mean, I've seen him make plays. That touchdown catch that ended up being, I forget who got penalized for it. Somebody got called for a holding. It was during the Kenny Pickett start in the second to last game, where the play broke down and A.J. Brown had to make a bunch of moves in the end zone to make that play. I saw him moving just fine. And that was the last game in which he played in.
Well,
right?
then he's been off for 2 weeks. Then why would he be missing a Wednesday and a Thursday practice if there's nothing to it?
It's a great question, but if they're saying he's been dealing with it for the last couple of weeks, I'm going to imagine that come game day, they're going to take care of him, with medicine. And we're not talking about, influenza medicine. We're talking about medicine to make sure that knee is good to go. I'm not in the least bit concerned. I mean, it's always alarming when it pops up that late in the week, but he's not going to miss the game. This isn't like last season where all of a sudden he missed the playoff game. I'm not worried about it at all.
Now, my worry, Andrew, is more long-term. Does something build on this? You got a long postseason run coming, so we'll have our eye on A.J. Brown and his availability in practice as the Eagles progress, as long as they take down the Packers, and we all expect them to. But, long-term, maybe it's something that we watch a little bit more. I'm with you this week. I'm not thinking about it, really.
Yeah, of course. We'll keep an eye on it long-term. If he hobbles off the field at some point on Sunday, then we're going to be a little bit more alarmed. But I can't lose sleep over a midweek injury report that pops up. And then the beats tell us right away he's been dealing with something. Yeah. When I've seen him play and him still be fantastic on the field. So I'm not going to panic. If we see something happen on Sunday, then yeah, sure, that'll be cause for alarm. But right now, I'm good until game day.
What is right now, what do you think the path for the Eagles to New Orleans would have to be? So they beat this weekend. They go out and beat Green Bay. What do you think the path is going to be for the next two games that they'd have to navigate.
Yeah, I still keep on going back and forth with this Bucks-Commanders game. I thought it was a lock that if the Rams got the 3 seed, that they would beat the Commanders. Just the battle-tested, Super Bowl-winning head coach, Super Bowl-winning quarterback, all those weapons offensively. The Bucks still also have weapons offensively, so I can't all of a sudden say they can't do it. And oh, by the way, Todd Bowles was a part of the Super Bowl team, so they could very well do it. So I'm still kind of coin flip. I lean toward the Bucks, and then the Bucks would come here to Philadelphia, and I give them a lot of credit for what they've been able to accomplish this year. Baker Mayfield has won games without his wide receivers this year. There were games where his top receivers were Cade Otton, the tight end, and Rashad White, his running back.
And you bet on it. And you bet on Otton in that game and won.
And so I give him a lot of credit, but I would still take the Eagles in that contest. I mean, again, John, earlier in the week, we just celebrated the fact that they were 14-3. The Eagles never slipped up. Even in games where it looked like they were going to slip up, they ended up being the better team. And it wasn't like last year, those first 10 wins where they found ways to win, but you didn't feel great about it. They found ways to win in some of these games, and you still felt great about it. So I believe the Eagles will play the Bucs in the second round. I think they're going to handle their business. And then they go on to the NFC Championship game, and odds are it's in Detroit.
So you see Detroit beating the Rams or Minnesota?
Yeah, that's my guess. Obviously, the beauty would be if the Lions get knocked off in the NFC Championship games in Philadelphia. But I think logically, now that I've had many days to just sleep, would be that the Eagles are going to Detroit to take on the Lions.
Now,
and then we'll have that conversation when we get there.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time to break that one down. Now, I want to give you, we got 2 minutes, so we have to hit this break. You have the floor for your own 2-minute drill. I know you've been just jonesing to get your thoughts on this game out. Are the Eagles beating the Packers, and if so, how are they going to do it?
Yes, they're going to handle the Packers, I'll say easily. It might be something where they start off a little bit slow, which is something we've been accustomed to all season long, but I really don't think this is a team that should scare anybody. I go back to what I was saying earlier in the week before I started missing time. Everybody that's afraid of Jordan Love and Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs, those guys are good players. Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs are good receivers, but they wouldn't be the number 2 receiver on this team. Now, I get it. The Eagles have a luxury with A.J. Brown and a Heisman Trophy winner in Devontae Smith, but still, those guys are not even close to being the number 2 receiver on this team. And then they have to go up against the number 1 defense in the NFL. It's not like Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed are decent wide receivers going up against a decent defense. They're going up against an elite defense. So I don't see the Packers coming into Lincoln Financial Field and dropping 30 on the Eagles. And offensively for the Eagles, you know how I felt about it. I'm not worried about the Jalen Hurts rust. I think they can get rust off pretty quickly. Design some easy routes where Jalen Hurts can get the ball out quick, which I know sometimes is an issue of his getting the ball out quick. But if Kellen Moore designs plays in those scripted 15 plays to get the ball out quick and Jalen Hurts does it, I think that rust falls off right away. And, oh, by the way, you still have Mr. 2000. You have Saquon Barkley. So they can control the clock. They can handle their business on the ground game. You have the best offensive line in football, or the second-best offensive line in football, however you want to grade it. I know the Packers' rushing defense is a little bit better, but they're banged up in the secondary. I think Jalen will be just fine. I think the Eagles handle their business. The only thing I ask for, if it's a kick or go-for-it situation, go for it. That's really it. I can't let the season fall on a struggling kicker. That's pretty much it for me at this point. And so I think the Eagles pull this game out, I don't know, 27 to maybe I'll give them 20, the Packers, but I don't think this is necessarily a sweat. I heard Greg Kuhn on with the Mike Missanelli show on the other day, and he thinks the Eagles win by 2 scores, and that's his team. He covers the Packers.
John Kuhn.
He's a Packers player.
John Kuhn, yeah.
Sorry, there was a kid I graduated high school with, Greg Kuhn. My bad.
I'm sure he was a great fullback, too.
Shout out to Greg Kuhn.
Listen, you're going to have to work things out because we'll talk to you full-time on the pregame show on Sunday.
Yeah,
I'll
be
get the
better
chance
for the pregame show, dude.
Well, I think I just clicked on all cylinders. This is my flu game call.
You're rolling, baby. Michael Jordan, Andrew Salciunas.
You sound like Demi Moore. So get some more rest, please.
I think that's a good thing, right?
She's hot, but she doesn't. I don't want you to sound like her.
You sound great, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll talk to you again on the Birds Insider pregame show on Sunday. Andrew Salciunas there checking in.
He's so upset to not be here this week.
Yeah, but
he does not like to be at home.
We'll get him for the full pregame show on Sunday, and he'll be ready to go well rested. We're injury managing Andrew Salciunas as well. Coming up next, another guy on the flu list right now, Andrew DiCecco. Normally have him for a full hour, but he's just going to do a call-in because
we
he's
didn't
fighting
want
sickness too.
We didn't want him in here.
No, but he'll give you a chance to win some Sixers tickets. And he'll also help us settle this debate we're having on A.J. Brown and give his final thoughts ahead of Eagles-Packers. Well, his second to final thoughts because he'll be with us on the pregame show as well. Andrew DiCecco comes your way next. This is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Jalen Hurts is a go, but what about his top target? I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it is brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30, and the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday, Jalen Hurts was listed as a full participant at practice, so it looks like he's officially good to go and will be on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, though, A.J. Brown did not practice yesterday as he is dealing with a knee injury. Per Jeff McClain, though, he is expected to play on Sunday. We'll keep you updated all week long leading up to that game on the health of A.J. Brown, the status for Sunday's game, and everything in between for the Birds. The Sixers, though, they host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. You can catch that game live right here on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, the team announced yesterday that Jared McCain is officially done for the season with his torn meniscus. The Flyers, they fell last night 4-1 to the Dallas Stars, and the Phillies, they agreed to one-year contracts and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was also brought to you by Corona. Join Seth Joyner and Bet Parks. Join Seth Joyner and D. Gunn for the Bet Parks pre- and post-game show live at Parks Casino. For every Birds post-game, must be 21, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
go from one Andrew to another. I'm Connor Thomas sitting in for Andrew Salciunas, who just joined us on the Comcast Business Hotline.
That
John
peanut
Kincade
butter
to my
sticking
left.
in your mouth a little bit.
I'm good to go. What do you mean? I'm great. And Brendan Gunn on the board. I was having a little bit of the peanut butter breakfast
That's
bar
good.
that I have every day.
Very healthy, like A.J. Brown.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to be, but we'll see what Andrew DiCecco has to say. And also, listen carefully here, because DiCecco's going to give you a chance to win a pair of Sixers tickets. We have 2 pairs to give away to Tuesday night's game against Oklahoma City. But you're also going to want to listen carefully, because he's going to tell us everything you need to know about Eagles-Packers. Let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline and talk to Andrew DiCecco, Eagles insider. Andrew, the A.J. Brown situation, right off the rip, this is the big story today. How concerned should we be about A.J. Brown's, not necessarily status for Sunday, because it seems like he's going to play, but this injury in general?
Well, it is obviously a big story given how late in the week it is, and to not have one of your top players practicing is obviously going to be concerning. But my understanding is it's not something that's going to keep him out of Sunday. It's part of the maintenance plan. And the Eagles, to their credit, they've done a really good job of managing that throughout the last 3 seasons with A.J. A.J.'s had knee issues with the Tennessee Titans and things of that nature. So I think the Eagles have been mindful of that, and they've done a really good job. And I think it could just be, now to what extent A.J. is going to be on Sunday, I couldn't tell you that, but I think it's something he may just have to play through, and it's obviously going to be colder, so that's going to take a toll on the knee a little bit. But, I think that this is something that's been, prevalent throughout his tenure, and it's something that you have to wonder if that's going to be prevalent throughout his career. But I think the Eagles have done a really good job in handling it, and I wouldn't expect that to keep him out for Sunday.
Now, when I look, I don't think anyone's expecting him to be kept out. There's enough of you people that are very informed that are giving us that. But it's the idea of they don't usually miss Thursday and Wednesday practice. That's giving me the reason for alarm. And people are like, it's just practice. It doesn't matter. This isn't Allen Iverson. Thursday practices matter.
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's the biggest practice of the week, and I just think, John, for a game of this magnitude, they're doing everything they can to get him as close to 100% as they can. Now, they're going to be at a little bit of a detriment there because now he's gone a few weeks without having those reps and practices with Jalen Hurts. But I think if the goal is to get your players to Sunday and as close to peak performance as you can, I think that's what they're trying to do. And it's not optimal to miss a Thursday practice, but the Eagles are doing what they can with the time that they have.
So let's take a look at the Packers. Who is the most dangerous player that's going to be on the field for Green Bay on Sunday, in your opinion?
I'm going to say Jaden Reed, Connor, and the reason why I say that is he's not going to beat you in the traditional way, but he is so lethal in space and really effective at slipping past tacklers, and he had 138 yards and a touchdown against the Eagles in Week 1. But this time it's going to be a little bit different because he's not going to see Avonte Maddox, who played 60 snaps, accounted for 90% of that total. He's going to see Cooper DeJean. And Cooper DeJean, for you see the length and the athleticism, but he has the tackling prowess, and he can keep up with someone like Jaden Reed. But he is their most explosive option. But I think their most underrated option that the Eagles must take into account is wide receiver Dontavian Wicks, who I believe he lines up most on the right side. So I don't think he's going to see Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean so much. I think he's going to see a lot of Darius Slay.
The idea that the Eagles, if A.J. Brown in the pecking order is the what to you, most important part of the offense that stirs the drink, if I was to ask you Saquon Barkley, obviously your quarterback Jalen Hurts, where do you put him in the hierarchy?
John, I think A.J. Brown's the best player on the Eagles. I think he's the most important player to that offense. I think teams play them differently when A.J.'s out there, and he opens things up for everyone else. So to have him out there is going to be absolutely critical. And maybe I've seen A.J. the last 3 years, so maybe my opinion's a little bit colored there, but I view him as a top 3 or 4 receiver in the NFL. Based on how we see teams play him and his ability to just win on all 3 levels, I just think that he's among the elite.
We're talking to Andrew DiCecco on the Comcast Business Hotline. Now, Andrew, the game strategy for the Eagles on Sunday, with Jalen Hurts just coming back, with A.J. Brown limited, is this a ride Saquon Barkley game?
I think so. And when you look at this game, and I think we talked a little bit about this on Wednesday, I'm kind of curious to see how Kellen Moore and how Nick Sirianni choose to approach this game, because Jalen obviously hasn't practiced traditionally since December 20th. He hasn't played. He played 5 minutes in the Commanders game. So do they just go out like the Pittsburgh Steelers game, or do they try to throw the football? I think it's going to be the opposite. I think they're going to try and get Jalen settled into the flow of the game. I think they're going to get Saquon Barkley going, allow that offensive line to lean on the Packers' defensive line, start to wear them down, and hope that Saquon breaks a big run, and all of a sudden you're able to control the clock and get some early points on the board.
If you were Matt LaFleur, how would you try to attack this Eagles defense as far as the balance of Josh Jacobs is what everybody's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But is that truly, isn't that playing right into Vic Fangio's hands?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're going to try to run Josh Jacobs and establish the run because they've really become a run-centric team throughout the season, John. But I would imagine that they're going to try to really suck the linebackers in with play action and try to get some safeties to be off their spot with the eye candy. But I would imagine that you're going to try and see them attack that second level with Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, with tight end Tucker Kraft, with some of their running backs, and try and get Jaden Reed in space and try to attack the intermediary levels of the Eagles defense, because that, to me, is their best course of action. They don't have Christian Watson, who is their big play specialist, so I think their most sound plan of attack, because I really do believe the Eagles are going to bottle up the running game, is to attack the intermediary level of that defense.
All right, Andrew, last thing for you. John has
one more thing.
Yeah.
What would be the path you would want for the Eagles? What should we be? You don't tend to be rooting for teams when you watch games. But if you were an Eagles fan, what's the best path for them, would you believe, in the next round?
Running the football.
No, to have to face. The team they would have to face.
The Rams, I would say.
Okay. So we're rooting for the Bucs then not to win.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that you're going to want to see the Bucs, because Todd Bowles has had the Eagles number, and I think the Bucs are kind of an underrated team where they can come in and they can throw the football around. They have a decent running game, and their defense can rise to the occasion. I just think that that's a nasty blend. I don't think Eagles fans would want to see them here.
All right, last thing for you here, Andrew. We've been saying all week, touchdown favorite, maybe 2-score favorite, the Philadelphia Eagles. Are we being overconfident, or do you see this as a comfortable win for the Birds on Sunday?
I would say maybe a touch overconfident. You know how playoff games are. Sometimes they're rarely blowouts. I would imagine that this is going to kind of be like a slugfest early on, but the Eagles are a really well-coached team. They're the better coached team, and they're simply the better team. I have them winning this game 27-23. I think they get off to a fast start offensively, and they cruise from there.
Perfect. We love that. Well, you sound
like
great.
Hearing that. You
even
sound
though you've
much
been out.
better. Yes.
So
I can't wait. I'll be back there tomorrow. I can't wait.
You have a special tomorrow, right?
Yes, I do. 3 to 6:30. Just strictly Eagles, and I can't wait to dive into all the prevalent storylines in this game.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. Thank you for joining us, Andrew DiCecco on the Comcast Business Hotline. We'll also talk to him on the pregame show, the Birds Insider pregame show on Sunday, just ahead of the game.
And now I can have lunch with him on Sunday before the game because I know he's not a filthy, flu-ridden mess.
Yeah, it'll be all better by then. So we've been fighting through the flu, and two guys that had it joined us in the past couple segments. Now, hopefully you listen closely to what Andrew DiCecco had to say, because we're going to break it down coming up next. But we've also got 2 Know the DiCecco questions for your chance to win Sixers tickets coming up in the next segment. And there's some stuff to break down there with what Andrew had to say, especially that last answer about overconfidence. Interesting perspective from a guy who covers the team. So we'll discuss that coming up next. I'm Connor Thomas sitting in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade alongside me, Brendan Gunn on the board. We're back for more Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We've got your opportunity to win a pair of Sixers tickets. We've got 2 pairs to give away based on what Andrew DiCecco had to say, who just joined us this previous segment. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas alongside John Kincade and Brendan Gunn on the board, and some interesting stuff from DiCecco. So I'm going to ask the first Know the DiCecco question, and then we're going to get into that last answer about if we're being a little overconfident, and Andrew DiCecco's thoughts on postseason games. So your first Know the DiCecco question. The first person to call into the contest line, 215-263-0975 to the answer, with the answer to this question, will win a pair of tickets to Sixers Thunder this coming Tuesday at the Wells Fargo Center. Single game tickets are on sale now at Sixers.com. Who did Andrew DiCecco say is the most dangerous player for the Green Bay Packers on Sunday? The most dangerous player. He mentioned 2, but the most dangerous, he only said 1. And that is the answer we need for the first one there. So we've got that to keep in mind if you want to win the Sixers tickets. And also, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say worried. I'm not worried. But his answer on if we're being overconfident is probably what I should have expected from a guy like Andrew DiCecco. But he said playoff games seem to often be more tight than you'd expect them to be. Does that have you any less confident in your prediction of like 10 points?
Not at all. Eagles are winning this game by 2 scores. It's a minimum of 10 points.
Minimum.
In fact, on my BetParks app, my same game parlay will be built on the Eagles minus 9.5.
Okay.
I will slide that bar all the way to 9.5, and I will add a Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown into the mix.
Oh, but you're Mr.
So he's running.
Yeah, I don't want to see him run the tush push.
No, at some point he's going to get a touchdown.
Okay.
He will get a touchdown in this game. It may be a quarterback draw. I'm seeing a quarterback draw, first and goal or second and goal from like the 3, and a quarterback draw, Jalen Hurts runs it in for a touchdown. But I am seeing that will be 2 of the things that I build upon. I will not put A.J. Brown into my same game parlay. I will not do that. But Devontae Smith overs, I will be intrigued by.
Now, what I will say to your bet there is Saquon Barkley. I was just watching some of the highlights of him week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Both of his rushing touchdowns.
3, too,
he had
right?
3 total, 1 receiving.
Right.
But both of his rushing touchdowns came from like within the 10-yard line. So week 1, they were using Saquon to punch the ball in. Now, clearly that changed over the course of the season.
They weren't from the 1, though.
There was one from like the 3-yard line.
Yeah, the 3-yard line. I think it was a 3 and a 7 or something like that.
Yeah, where
so remember they let Jalen hawk all those, touchdowns from the 1-yard line.
Yes, 1 or 2 or sometimes 2.5 if you're trusting the tush push.
Well, if it's first and goal from the 2, I don't know what you're.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. They're scoring. They're impossible
going to
score. Stop from there. Which, I mean, that's a luxury, another luxury that the Philadelphia Eagles have. Did you have anything from Andrew DiCecco that really, piqued your interest? He didn't seem too concerned about the A.J. Brown situation.
No, he didn't. He did not, and that makes you feel better when you hear that. I think more along the lines of is that you can tell the confidence he has that the Eagles have the coaching advantage in the game.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And I think, remember, when a guy like DiCecco talks about a coaching advantage in the game, he's talking about the whole staff. But I'm going to tell you right now, Bird's special teams have stunk this year. They've been bottom 25% of the league. If you're talking making kicks that are clutch kicks over 50, kick coverage, I don't think it's been very good. And also, too, the idea that I'm really not thinking that as far as the overall coaching of this team, the offense to me has been. I'm disappointed in Kellen Moore. I'm the only person in town that'll say that. I'm disappointed in this offense.
Well, you got to remember, you also had such a high.
Great.
You had such a high bar for the guy when he was hired.
I did, and I built that up like nobody's business. But I thoroughly believed the Eagles were going to be a Ferrari.
Could that ultimately be a better thing, though, for the Birds? They're still sitting in prime position.
No, it could
to go be a Super Bowl winner this year, and then you retain both coordinators.
It could. No,
I'd rather have the Super Bowl. I'd rather lose Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore.
By the way, now Kellen too going to interview with.
Yeah, obviously,
Kellen going to interview with Jacksonville too. So he's going to interview with Jacksonville and New Orleans. I think Kellen Moore's getting a job, and I do think he's going to get.
I think
a
so
job.
as well.
And so you're going to be worried. But to me, what I thought we were getting with Kellen Moore, now some of it's been injury. Multiple times with A.J. Brown, multiple times with Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert multiple times.
Lane Johnson.
It's been
Landon
well. That
Dickerson.
was the Lane Johnson thing was a blip on the radar. That's a real pretty much.
Jordan
a one-game
Mailata
thing.
went to the IR.
Yeah, I'm not. I expected this team to be off to the races. We might see it. Maybe in the postseason we see it.
Yeah, he's been good, not great.
No, I don't think he's been
That's what
good.
I would say. Like, he's above average. And compared to what Brian Johnson did last year, he's been exceptional.
Compared to Brian Johnson, for God's sake.
Yeah, we're not taking the guy to task, but I understand.
I'll take Penn State's offense over that.
One part of Kellen Moore's offense that he never really showed this year, he always had a knack for trick plays when he was in Dallas, and he hasn't shown any yet. Maybe they rear its head in the postseason.
Oh, I like that.
Haven't needed him, though. That's the thing. I look at the Kellen Moore stuff this year, and I say it's more we don't need to do this stuff than we're choosing not to. Like, it's just he's capable. He hasn't had to because the offense is so ironclad. All right, our second the DiCecco question. This is for a chance at our second pair of Sixers tickets this coming Tuesday, the 14th, versus Oklahoma City at Wells Fargo Center. Single game tickets are on sale now at Sixers.com. Who did Andrew DiCecco pick as his preferred second round opponent? If the Eagles are to get to the second round, and we expect them to, who does Andrew DiCecco want them to match up with? He picked a specific team in the NFC postseason bracket. You can call 215-263-0975 right now. With that answer, first caller with the correct answer will win that pair of Sixers tickets. All right, coming up next, Johnny, you got some more numbers. I'm passing the stats crown back to you.
And they may not make you smile like yours did.
Uh-oh. Okay, so potentially some troubling numbers.
Could be. We're going to discuss it and see what we make of it.
And it's the deficits that the Eagles have had to overcome in wins this year. We will discuss that coming up next, and John will lay that conversation out for you. I'm Connor Thomas alongside John Kincade. I'll be sitting in for Andrew Salciunas for the remainder of the show, and Salciunas will be back next week just fighting off the flu. Brendan Gunn on the board celebrating his Fighting Irish semifinal college football playoff win. We're back for more Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
What's going on with A.J. Brown? I'm Brendan Gunn, and this update is brought to you by Moyer Indoor and Outdoor Services. Locally family-owned and operated for 150 years, Moyer's been keeping lawns green and lush and homes pest-free. Go to eMoyer.com for free estimates. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. And the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday, Jalen Hurts was listed as a full participant at practice, so it looks like he's officially good to go and will be on the field on Sunday. On the flip side, A.J. Brown was limited on Wednesday, and he did not practice yesterday with the knee injury. According to Jeff McClain of The Inquirer, A.J. Brown is still expected to play, though, on Sunday. We'll keep you updated all day long on wide receiver one's status. The Sixers, though, they host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can catch that game live right here tonight on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, the team officially announced yesterday Jared McCain is done for the season with his torn meniscus. The Flyers, they lost last night 4-1 to the Dallas Stars, and the Phillies, they agreed to one-year contracts and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was also brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Ladder 15 on Sansom Street in Center City this Sunday at 4 p.m. Presented by Corona, and you can enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still hear all your favorite Fanatic shows no matter where you go. The 97.5 The Fanatic app. Philly sports in the palm of your hand. Listen to our 24/7 live stream. Get up to the minute Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and Union commentary.
Head to Google Play or the Apple App Store now and download our free app.
With the cold weather upon us, don't let your home improvement projects freeze up. Let our team of preferred pros keep your home warm, safe, and prepared to tackle the cold. From heating and plumbing to junk removal and repairs, our team of experts has you covered. Make this winter easier, one project at a time, with preferred pros.
Clogged drains, leaking sinks, no hot water? Ace Hardware Home Services has got you covered. Schedule fast expert plumbing service at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Metropolitan Veterinary Associates is proud to be the largest privately owned hospital in our region, offering specialty and emergency care for your dogs and cats 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Great Railing in Williamstown is now the largest Trex dealer in the United States and has Trex on sale from $1.89 per foot. GreatRailing.com.
Check out Preferred Pros today. This paid program is sponsored by businesses highly rated by actual customers. For more details, visit 975thefanatic.com.
This week's Pro to Watch is brought to you by Bradford White. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best. All right, every eye in town, all of us, we're all going to be watching Jalen Hurts. Because if this team is trying to get to New Orleans, you're going to get there by your quarterback leading you. So, Jalen, all eyes are on you. Everybody's behind you. And everybody wants to see that passing game light up the sky. Oh, and if Saquon runs a little bit, it's not going to hurt either.
Imagine taking a shower that never runs out of hot water. Well, here's some good news. Bradford White's Infinity Series GS and GR tankless water heaters deliver endless hot water whenever you need it. They're highly efficient too, saving you energy and money. Like all Bradford White water heaters, they're built to be the best for years of reliable performance. How you heat your water matters. Learn more about our Infinity Series tankless water heaters at bradfordwhite.com.
My dad, Len, always says, the minute you get in a car, everyone, front and back, should buckle up.
And my son Jordan always says, the minute you get in a car accident, first seek medical attention and then call us. This is Len Lundy.
And I'm Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. My dad and I hope you never meet us because of an accident. But if you do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyer.
Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Hey, it's John Kincade for Landis Block and Concrete. You know they're the go-to place to create your jaw-dropping backyard paradise, but did you know that it's also the place to keep it looking brand new? Landis Block offers top-quality cleaners and sealers to maintain the fresh, impressive look. From durable pavers to elegant stucco and bricks, Landis Block has everything you're going to need to keep your backyard looking immaculate, season after season. Visit LandisBC.com. Get inspired on what you want to build or what you want to maintain. Landis Block, your outdoor paradise isn't just a dream, it'll be a reality that you can maintain effortlessly.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. And see why? It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. Available in Atlanta. T&Cs apply.
Rally House. Shop every team in town. College and pro. Come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, Philly. Rally House has the Eagles gear you're looking for, including official postseason gear in the latest styles. Go Birds!
Eagles, Sixers, Villanova, Penn State, Temple, Phillies, Flyers, don't be late. Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
This is Kincade and Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, we're heading closer to the 9 o'clock hour here on Kincade and Salciunas. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade to my left. So we have some NFL news that we're going to get to coming up. Now, it's something for next season, but worth bringing up. I do want to do this as well, too. I almost forgot. It is my Uncle Wade's birthday. Now, this is sacrilegious to Philadelphia Eagles fans because he is a Green Bay Packers fan.
So he's not your smartest uncle?
No, he's not. But I love him all the same. So
We
I wanna
love
wish
Uncle Wade.
A happy birthday to him today because
Is Uncle
on
Wade
Sunday,
as big as your dad, or is he your brother's?
He's my mom's brother. So, yeah. So we'll
I'm
be
not messing
mortal
with
enemies.
Uncle Wade if he's your dad's brother. I'm saying, Uncle Wade, we just love you.
He makes knives. I'd watch out for Uncle Wade. But no, he's going to be a mortal enemy on Sunday. So for today, I'll wish him a happy birthday. But the NFL news, I want to get to this really quick because you were talking to me about this during the break, or you might have just been mumbling it to yourself, but we were talking about the schedule. And I know schedule release day is your biggest holiday.
Yes,
Like
I do love the schedule release.
We know what teams will be playing across the pond over in London in 2025. That will be the Jets, the Browns, and the Jaguars, who basically
Correct.
have a residency in London.
The Eagles play none of those teams next year on the road.
So the Eagles will not be heading
The
to
Eagles
London.
will be in America next year.
That is. So I know you love that
I
because
love that.
you hated the game down in Brazil, giving up a home game.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I wish if every team in the NFL, if they go to the 18-game schedule, there is what has been proposed that every team plays one international game.
then that's fine because
That's
everyone's
perfect.
even playing field.
Everybody plays an international game every year. And I think that's where it's heading. I think it's going to head to they're going to play 8 games a year in London, 4 games a year in Mexico or something.
Someone in
They'll figure it.
Germany.
So that way
like,
all 32 teams travel. They need to have 16 international games.
Right.
And I think that's the way it should be.
And that's fair. I totally understand your point on that. The Eagles avoid that for the London games for 2025. So just a little heads up, no need to book the trip over there across the pond.
That's good.
Unless the Phillies somehow end
There are
up
so many great road trips next year, though.
There
Amazing.
are. And some great games.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's
We'll
going to
get
be
to
a hard
next year's
one.
schedule when we get to it because hopefully that's a conversation for March after we get done celebrating
Correct.
the Super Bowl.
Correct.
But no London trip for the Birds next year. That is a good thing for a lot of people who want to see this team play more games in South Philadelphia. Now, Johnny, you have some numbers for us on the deficits the Eagles have faced in games that they've won. So you don't know if this is a good stat or a bad stat, but you have the numbers. What exactly is this breakdown?
Well, the numbers, I think, this is a one that might concern you. And again, I think it's just your level of potential concern. The Eagles this year, as a playoff team, have trailed in 10 of their games this season. 7 of those 10 games they've trailed, obviously by the math, ended up as victories. That's the largest percentage of teams trailing that made the playoffs, making that they turn into victories. But the 10 games is also the most of any of the playoff teams in trailing. And I ask you, is that a concerning stat or is it a positive stat? The one thing that I will say about the number is this that may make you, I want to make it so it's a fair discussion. They trailed in 10 games. They trailed in the first 4. So they only trailed in 6 of the last 13, but that was still almost half.
Yeah, but that's post-bye week they improved, which we know that already from watching the team play. So that would seem to make sense. I'm not going to say it's a fully great stat. Obviously,
they just for they trailed Green Bay by 6. They trailed Atlanta by 5. They trailed New Orleans by 5. The Tampa game was a 24-point. Yeah. That's the total outlier. The Bengals led them by 7. The Commanders led them by 7. The Rams led them by 4. The Ravens led by 9. The Panthers led by 3. The Commanders led by 3.
So
most of the time, it's a 7-point, a couple times a 7-point, but most of the time, 3, 4, 5 points that they ever trailed in a game.
Yeah, I would argue that 90% of those as well would be in the first or second quarter that those deficits were seen because the Eagles just got off to slow starts so often this year. So that's
it's
not a good thing.
Concerning, or is it concerning?
Well,
they trailed in 4 of their last 7.
I'm not going to say it's good. If you want to be worried about that, hey, this is further proof the Eagles get off to slow starts and have done that this year, and that's something that you worry about more in a postseason game, totally fair. Here's what I'll say. I like to, before the postseason happens, before you get into the win-or-go-home games, I want to know as much about my football team as I can. I want to know how they do as far as their ability to blow out opponents, to play tight games, to lose tight games, and how they react to that, whether they can throw, whether they can run, whether they defend the pass, whether they defend the run, turnovers, all of that stuff. I want every possible situation to be experienced so that when you see something in the postseason, chances are you've seen it already in the regular season. I could make the argument that by those stats, there is no team that is better prepared for playoff-type football, which is tight games, potentially coming back from down scores. No team is going to the Super Bowl playing easy games every single way and then getting to New Orleans and then saying, well, we're going to blow the doors off these guys too. Everybody plays the tight game.
And to your point, you know who's the worst in the AFC?
The Chiefs.
Yes.
Has to be. Yeah.
And so, it's the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Which is a pretty good company to be in,
And a lot of people think the Chiefs and Eagles are going to meet in the Super Bowl.
Hey.
So it's a weird, but I'm just saying to you, it does seem a little strange. I look at it as a positive stat because they're battle-tested, but 5 of the last 8 games they trailed in, and that's the most of any of the playoff teams. Mm-hmm. And they also, in those 5 of the 8, the last game they didn't even play the starter, so really it was 5 of 7.
Yeah, and the weird thing is with the Chiefs, I almost get this sense of out of control, magic things have to happen for them to win those football games. For the Eagles, they've never looked like they've panicked. They've never played a game outside of that Tampa Bay game where it's we don't know what's going on, we can't figure this out. Oh, wow, we lucked into a win. No, it was the Eagles fighting their way back comfortably, knowing what they're best at, and saying, hey, we're cool being down a score. It's not ideal, but we can win these games because we've done it all year. So that does give me confidence in that aspect. But it's not ideal to get down to a lot of the teams you're playing, and that could kill you in the postseason. I don't think it will against Green Bay, but against better competition, when you play, like, say, a Detroit in an NFC Championship game, I'm going to say that can't happen. By the way, you are listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. So what are your thoughts out there on that? Is that a good thing, bad thing, something that just is that you can learn from? 610-632-0975 is the phone number you can call in. You can text in. We haven't gone to our text line here in a little bit, so I want to check out what the people have been saying. B-Gun, what do we have on the text line?
Yeah, we got Jake in Cinnaminson checking in. He says, I'm not concerned even if A.J. Brown sat. This team is much more than just A.J. Devontae is still hungry after dropping a game away against Washington.
I get that. Listen, I think Devontae's hungry anyway. I think this whole narrative of, like, well, you dropped the pass, now they're hungrier. I think every player on this Eagles team, when you win 14 regular season games, that means dudes are dying to win. And after last year, they should be.
I think this is going to be a team that's got a little bit of an edge to them.
Yeah, like screw
about where
last
they
year.
are. Right.
Like,
they want to change that narrative, and they've been focused on it all year. And that's a great point of a credit to Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff. Because a lot of teams would have gotten swallowed up by the last year's negativity. They fueled it.
And
it's been rocket fuel.
I want you guys to think about this real quick. Like, if the Philadelphia Eagles were to go out, I don't care if they play a great game, a bad game, they're blown out, whatever. I don't care about the margin of loss. If they were to lose to the Green Bay Packers, they would sit there, and they're not thinking about it right now because they're just preparing for the Packers. You don't think about worst-case scenario
Correct.
if you're in that locker room. But they would sit there after the game and say, damn, we ended up in the same spot we ended last year, losing in the wild card round. Worse, we did it at home. Part of their goal, absolutely believe it, they don't want what happened last year to happen again. And as great as this regular season has been, if they go out and they lose to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, this will be last year. It will be without the collapse. It will be with better coaching. It will be with 2,000 yards from Saquon Barkley and a significantly improved defense. But they will have advanced no closer to the Super Bowl than they did last year. And this team is not going to let that happen. They are not going to allow this season to end at the same exact point last year's season ended. They do have a chip on their shoulders, whether they'll tell you that or not, and this fan base does as well. So, we're going to be pissed if they don't get further than they got last year. They've got to win this game, and they're going to win this game. And part of the reason is looking back on the way that they went out last year. So, as much as this season feels different, if the result is the same, it'll be a waste. And I don't believe this team's going to do that to us.
Hungry dogs run fast.
That's right.
No, that's like a parade speech. And I love and the thing is, I think it's based in sort of fact. Like observing this team, I do believe that you're spitting facts.
Yeah, and you know what Green Bay's playing for? Hey, we're glad we're here. We played in a tough division. Jordan Love, maybe he's the guy at some point. We got some guys banged up. We're happy to be here. Okay, happy to be here doesn't win you playoff games. Happy to be here doesn't win you championships. Happy to be here is not enough to come into Lincoln Financial Field and knock off this 14-win Eagles team.
Okay, you saved your best segment for like the whole freaking week.
Well, yeah, dude.
For the final hour of the show today. I love this. This is passion. This is energy.
And I believe it.
Connor should get in there. So you should speak to the team today.
Let's go. I got my three-point stance ready to go. I could line up. I'm ready to play.
I'll tell you, though, as Connor speaks there, it does speak again that Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff have done a great job. Credit to the players for accomplishing it. But I agree with you. I think they're a team that's just going to be on a mission.
Now, save some of that credit, because coming up next, we have one of our best segments of the week. We have our pick segment.
Well, I could call you dope in that segment, potentially.
Well, I mean, you could, but not based
bad.
on the record.
No,
because
you're not bad.
We've been pretty darn good all year. We're going to give you our picks for the upcoming NFL weekend. So we'll have that. Also, Brendan Gunn is a guest picker who's been pretty darn good himself this year. We've been making you some money. So tune in for that coming up next, our pick segment. We got a lot of great stuff in the 9 o'clock hour still planned for you. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade to my left, Brendan Gunn on the board. We're back from work Kincade and Salciunas after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Sixers All Access.
firmly into the 9 o'clock hour here on Kincade Salciunas. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade to my left. Brennan Gunn on the board.
It's important that you tell people whether I'm sitting to your left or right.
Well, I just I don't know.
What, you like taking formations? What are you, Tony Romo?
Just so people can visualize it. You can watch us on our YouTube
and then
chat.
they can see it for themselves.
Yeah, and check us out there. But if you're not watching, maybe they want to visualize what the studio setup is. If you're watching on our YouTube, you can also see John holding up from our friends over at Dietz & Watson's, one of the bird dogs, the hot dogs with the green
they're delicious.
Bun. Taste great, look great. Eagles Kelly Green right there on the bun. That's how you know it's playoff season.
The dog itself, that is a high-level item, as Mike Missanelli would say.
It absolutely is.
That's a top item right there. And much like Mike was saying the other day about the gas station dog. I've never done the gas station dog, but that is a high-level item, big time.
Tastes great. We'll eat them during the break, so we got to save.
I'm going to eat them during the segment while you're making your picks.
Oh, okay. Hey, that works too. But
you do that.
I don't blame you. There's some good stuff. But it is time for our pick segment, and we've been damn good this year.
Okay, how good though?
Oh, well, go ahead and read it out for us as Brendan Gunn gets us some football music for our segment.
I just got to work on I just got to make sure I get your number here because you've dropped a little.
I have. That's okay,
but you're still having a very good year.
Minor setback for a major comeback.
Connor is at 58% on the season.
42-30.
42-30. I am in second place at 44-28, 61%, so 2 games ahead of you. And then Andrew is in first place at 47-25.
Yeah, he's been good.
65% against the spread. So
it's impressive.
Do you want to do give Andrew's picks? You've got him in front of you there.
I don't know if he gets the lead off, being that he's not here, but fine, I'll read his first.
He's the lead dog. He won the regular season title, and he printed T-shirts and had hats made.
That's of respect for Mr. Salciunas, we'll give out his picks first. So he's leading off with the Eagles. -4.5 versus the Green Bay Packers. He's taking the Eagles to win and cover. He is taking Rashad Bateman over 46.5 receiving yards. Ladd McConkey over 75.5 receiving yards for the Chargers. And Josh Allen over 43.5 rushing yards in Bills Broncos. So 3 props at a spread for him. Johnny, you are up next.
I am going to clear my throat and tell you that there's a lot of Saturday action for me.
Okay.
Joe Mixon. Under 72.5 rushing yards. Right there. So Joe Mixon, I believe, is not going to be a big factor in the game, Smart. So put that in your mix. That's right there. A C.J. Stroud anytime interception. If you bet this over a half on my BetParks app, if you bet this the last 8 weeks, you cashed. C.J. Stroud is like a drunken sailor back there throwing passes. He throws tons of interceptions. I think they will be trailing, and I think that the opportunistic Chargers defense will get an interception.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson. I am going to go Lamar Jackson over 214.5 passing yards. I love that one. The Steelers will go down again to the Baltimore Ravens, and that's one there. And also, Andrew led with it. Sunday afternoon, I've already told you on my BetParks app, I'm moving the Eagles up to 9.5. So I'm easily taking the 4.5 and laying those points.
See, this is interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to change one of my picks for the good of the show.
Why is that?
Because I also was going to take that Eagles line.
See, I think for unity of the show, you might want to do it, but that's up to you.
See, you're not the superstitious one, but I certainly am.
Superstitious.
So I'm going to switch that pick. But I'm going to lead off with the Steelers plus 9.5 in Baltimore.
Okay.
I don't think
Tell
the
me
Steelers
why.
are remotely as good. But the NFC North always plays tight games.
They play like the scoregami games. We talked about this before.
And Andrew DiCecco was talking about when he called into us earlier, postseason games, they're even tighter than regular season games. I don't think the Steelers win, but I do think they cover that 9.5. I am taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -3.
Are you really?
To go ahead and take down the Washington Commanders. The fact that they're favored by 3 against that Washington team that seems to be more dangerous in some ways, that says all you need to know about the postseason experience that Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield have.
Okay.
I'm going with Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with Saquon over 102.5 rushing yards. I think he's a big part of the Eagles' attack, and I think you can run on this Green Bay team. Their rushing defense is solid. Saquon over 102.5.
That was That was a tasty number that would have potentially made it for me too.
And then I'm also going to take, because I think this team is broken. I'm sorry to my family for doing it, but I am taking the Rams plus 2.5 on Monday night. I think they win that game over the Minnesota Vikings outright.
Wow! Are you pulling a Missanelli on us?
Outright.
Wow!
You can hear Mike Missanelli and the Mike Missanelli Show live from Rally House at 10 a.m., by the way, in Willow Grove. Brennan Gunn, your picks.
Yeah, I just want to confirm something with John. You said it was C.J. Stroud throwing a pick, not Drew Aller in the final couple of seconds, right?
He's still doing this?
I already knew that, but I believe C.J. Stroud will have a much longer NFL career than Drew Aller.
Yes, for sure. But my picks, I'm going Commanders plus 3. I think they're going to win that game outright, similar to Connor on that one. But if you want to get a wager going, I'm taking the Vikings minus 2.5.
Wow, you're also doing that again.
I really think they're going to win those games. So, and then Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown.
Oh, okay.
You're the biggest Jaden Daniels fan on the planet.
I think he's going to have a special game one time. I do think he's a good player. And I got Derrick Henry. I mean, that's just free money. It might not be much money, but it's free money. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown.
Is that what are the odds on that? Is that minus money? You can't be picking like a minus 170.
You can't take a
us,
minus. You can't Every penny counts in your kid's college tuition.
Okay, if you want to do that, we can let him.
He's not in the overall standings.
We can let him. He's not in the overall
picker,
standings.
I guess we'll allow it.
He's done well, though, and we appreciate that for Brendan Gunn. Proud Delco Walmart alum of Notre Dame.
So those are our picks there. We've been on absolute fire this year. Now, I don't want to bring up how I had to bet up Jameis Winston over 1.5 interceptions earlier this year and hit it because it was too good of odds for just one. But that's okay, Brennan.
Is Yaden closed today? I'm just wondering, and is because if they have a parade for getting to the title game.
McDade, I think they're going down
Boulevard?
right now. Yeah, they're going right down McDade.
That's amazing. So that'll be a lot of fun. Go to the Clam House. What is it? The Clam
Tavern?
Clam Tavern.
Yes.
Clam Tavern down there.
To go celebrate the Fighting Irish big
Go
win.
down there. Yeah, it could
the
be a
local
big
team,
one.
the Fighting Irish.
Listen, we were expected to win, so don't want to rub it in.
But you've said you don't expect them to win the national championship.
I think it's going to be uphill sledding, yeah, for sure. Like, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
You said before the show this was the game you cared about more than the national championship.
Well, locally,
yeah. Like, I know people that went to Penn State.
They
like,
bumped and you know people that you bumped into when you would get your Notre Dame gear at the Walmart.
That's a weak mindset.
So the Notre Dame, alumni, the Walmart alumni, when you guys go in, they have the Penn State rack right next to the Notre Dame rack.
Listen,
by the way, somebody sent me a picture, and I'm sorry for the listener that sent it to me, that at Boscov's, they have a Penn State rack and a Notre Dame rack at the Boscov's.
Well, one's going on clearance today.
Well, that's a weak mindset because if the Eagles beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, it would not be that's all we needed. We'd be chasing down a Super Bowl.
Listen, I just heard Paul Feinbaum talk about no matter what happens in the national championship, the story of the year is Notre Dame, and they're back.
However, you got to tell yourself that. The story of the year is the Philadelphia Eagles and how they're going to absolutely smoke the Packers on Sunday. We'll talk more about the bigger game this weekend, Sunday, 4:30, Lincoln Financial Field, as we head into some of our final segments of the show, including a prediction on who your offensive and defensive MVPs for the Birds are going to be on Sunday. We'll make our picks coming up next on that. We just made our picks on the spreads and props just there. A very winning segment this year, by the way. It's more Kincade Salciunas coming up next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hurts practice, but did A.J. Brown? I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles are set to host the Green Bay Packers this coming Sunday at 4:30 at the Link in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. And the main story all week has been the health of Jalen Hurts. Well, yesterday he was listed as a full participant for the first time in a couple of weeks, but A.J. Brown, on the other hand, he did not practice yesterday after being limited on Wednesday. He's dealing with a knee injury. According to Jeff McClain of The Inquirer, though, A.J. Brown is expected to play, so don't freak out just yet. All this talk about the offense, though, and its players, but Matt Ryan joined the show yesterday, and he said the defense could be what is most important for the Birds.
More importantly, it's how they play defense and how they play defense the second half of the season. I think the combination of being able to run the football really well, impose your will on the offensive side of the ball, but play defense the way that they have, I think those two go hand in hand.
The Sixers host the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7. You can catch that game live right here on The Fanatic. Unfortunately, though, for the Sixers, they officially announced last night that Jared McCain is done for the season with his meniscus injury. The Flyers fell last night to the Dallas Stars 4-1, and the Phillies agreed to one-year contracts and avoided arbitration with Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. This update was brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Ladder 15 on Sansom Street in Center City this Sunday at 4 p.m., all presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fun-spirited Friday show. And, I mean, we should have. We're heading into a postseason game. Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eagles, Packers, Lincoln Financial Field. You've heard it a billion times this week, but just so you don't forget, we have a winner-go-home game. And
Brendan, I do have to ask you, though, will Notre Dame wear a Lene Kukua memorial patch on their uniforms?
They should.
And Manti Te'o's girlfriend? Like, just to honor it.
God rest her soul.
Yes, it's amazing.
Just as many catches as those Penn State wide receivers,
by the
though.
way, him being out front as like a big analyst now, really just makes me roll my eyes.
Well, let's hold back on
do
Big.
anything.
He did the Netflix special.
I got you, but you could do anything now. You could do anything now and be like, yeah, we'll welcome you back.
Second chances.
Second chances.
I mean,
Beautiful
Tim
thing.
Hasselback's on TV. Nate Burleson. Like, it's not. It's like. It's
What's
not
wrong
like,
with Tim Hasselback?
Well, he wasn't a superstar by any means. I would say Manny Titeo had a better career than Tim Hasselback.
Tim Hasselback didn't go 2.5 years telling
He
everybody.
pioneered NFL Europe, and now he deserves to be on TV. I'm sure he's a great guy, but the Manny Titeo had a better career.
Manny Titeo, though, seriously, Tim Hasselback didn't have a scandal. Come on.
We could debate fringe NFL players
Yes.
all we want, but we've got some great NFL players on the field for the Birds on Sunday. Now, the question is, who are going to be the ones that lead the way? So I got to know, guys, offensive and defensive MVPs for the Eagles on Sunday. We've gotten to the nitty-gritty part of the program where we start to make our true predictions. Not, hey, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling this. Tell me what's going to happen. Who is going to be the offensive MVP for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday? My pick's number 26 is Saquon Barkley. I don't have to think twice. I think he has a monster game. I think he goes for like 130 plus and at least one touchdown.
I think Jalen Hurts makes all the discussion of him being out look so stupid. Jalen Hurts puts himself together with a day. Jalen Hurts will be the headline story coming out of it.
Ready, Gun?
Yeah, and I'm not being different just for the sake of being different, but I take Andrew DiCecco's word very heavily around here, knows his stuff. So I think I'm going to go Devontae Smith on this one. If A.J. Brown really is going to be hampered, I think Devontae Smith steps up in a big way. I think they're going to try to take away the run early. Devontae Smith's going to get a couple of touchdowns.
A couple of touchdowns.
Oh,
See,
wow. I love that.
You know what's funny? So the past, like the final 3 weeks or so of the regular season, Devontae did have a sneaky great stretch. He was in a situation where, as Paul Blake hands a Reese's cup to Brendan Gunn on their Penn State Notre Dame bet. That's okay. We all lose one every once in a while.
I appreciate it. I am sorry to Paul and his daughters. I didn't want to see you guys go out sad like that. But you guys had a great season. You had a great season.
Be careful, dude. That's the big boss. He makes decisions based on your employment. So be careful when they're being
Paul's tie is as a Walmart alumni, but he paid tuition.
He paid tuition
to his daughter. So I mean that sort of makes you a little more connected.
He's definitely connected.
He's been part of that whole thing and everything. But he's not one of the he's not one of the insufferable ones. He doesn't count amongst the insufferable.
Well, the only people I'm worried about are the ones with the cheeseheads on this weekend because we have that matchup. And I think Saquon's going off. The interesting thing about Devontae, that I was saying before I got sidetracked with the Reese's Cup pass over there over the Penn State Notre Dame.
King size, too. That's awesome.
Devontae has had a couple plays in the final quarter of the regular season where he'd gotten like tripped up just short of the end zone. He had stuff brought back due to like penalty. He just went out of bounds like right before it. He could have had significantly better numbers in the touchdown department if one or two things break his way that made his season look more impressive. And he didn't have a bad season, but I don't think it's a bad idea to look at Devontae Smith as a guy that's been playing really, really well lately and could be forced into more of the limelight on Sunday. So those are our offensive MVPs. How about the defensive side of the ball? Johnny, I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm going to give you a one that I think is just it might be a little bit easier. Is that Jalen Carter is going to be a game wrecker. Game wrecker. Headline defensive player.
Does he end up with a turnover, a sack?
He's going to be a game wrecker. He's going to be somebody that at the end of the game we go, they had no answer for Jalen Carter.
All right, Brendan Gunn.
Let's go back to week 1 and his coming out party, Zach Bond. I see him stepping up on defense again in coverage. Maybe a sack or two. They sent him on a blitz here or there. I think Zach Bond's going to step up again just like he did week 1 against the Packers.
I'm going to make a selfish pick.
Okay.
But I do think this is based in some kind of logic. All right? Brendan Gunn, can you get the music ready for me? Because there is a guy who didn't play week 1 that is going to be a focal point of this defense in this game.
DeJean is not a safety.
Ooh! I mean, what you're going to get from DeJean over Avonte Maddox, comparing week 1 to this matchup now, is going to be light years of difference. And I do honestly think that
Maddox was the worst player on the field, Pro Football Focus, versus the Packers.
Yeah, 100-something yards to
and
Jaden Reed.
And he's done, and he's not a part of this, which
Jaden
is great
Reed
news.
was the guy that Andrew DiCecco said was their most dangerous player. I didn't say most dangerous player on offense. I said most dangerous player. Jaden Reed was who Andrew DiCecco gave us. That's a guy that works in the middle of the field a bunch. And with Christian Watson out and them not able to stretch the field, Jordan Love's going to be looking to the middle of the field, those short intermediate plays to get the ball out quickly so Jalen Carter doesn't turn into a game wrecker.
Oh, he's
And that
big.
is exactly where Cooper DeJean operates.
Okay.
I think he has a big game. I think he gets a postseason interception on Sunday. You heard it here first. Big play from Cooper DeJean. That's what I'm thinking as far as that's concerned. But you heard this, right? We just went through. There are so many times in the past when we've looked at Eagles teams and we've done this exercise. Who's going to be the offensive and defensive MVP? It's kind of one of those things you can always lean back on, but rarely can you go around a room and get 6 different players legitimately mentioned, and we could add probably 2 more, 3 more on both sides of the ball that could be legitimately in the conversation to be MVPs of either side of the ball. This team's deep.
How about this one is that they've been talking all year long. It's coming. The Quignon interception's coming. Could it come on Sunday?
You say that.
It's another one.
No, it's one that we're always looking for. And at the biggest time, this young man who has been so incredible could make his biggest play at a biggest time.
And on the flip side, on the offensive side, another guy, Jair Alexander's out. We talked about the Packers maybe playing a lot of zone. That leaves the open middle of the field. Dallas Goedert could have a big day.
He looked good against the Giants this past Sunday.
And Dallas Goedert, I'd love to see Dallas Goedert have a big game. Because I just think, I'm thinking of looking forward, that to give other opposing defense coordinators something to go, when we got to pay a little more attention to him than maybe we haven't thought, because it's been a quiet year.
It has
for
been.
Dallas due to a bunch of injuries.
It's also been a long week, dude. That Giants game, I just mentioned it, the final game of the
Doesn't it
regular
seem like it
feels
was,
like it was months ago.
Well, that's because everybody else around us has been, in the infirmary.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
So it's like it's an odd week.
But also, when you have something you're looking forward to, as much as we're looking forward to Eagles Packers, it does make the week feel a little bit longer. But folks, we're almost there. Friday, we're getting close. Sunday, 4:30 p.m. It's going to be go time. I want to know what the feeling of the fan base is. So for that, we're going to go to the text line again. 610-632-0975 is the phone number to call in, to text into the show. B-Gun, what are the people feeling like?
Yeah, we got Stan in Yardley checking in. He says, I think the Birds roll this weekend, but if A.J. is a factor long-term, it could be an issue. This will be only the 4th time this season if A.J. Brown plays that A.J., Smitty, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon are all on the field together.
Here's exactly what the A.J. Brown situation is right now to me. It's the same thing as the slow starts. I think Stan Yardley makes a great point there. Like this weekend against the Packers, if the Eagles come out and they have a slow start in the first quarter, it is not going to kill them. It is not going to sink their chances. It'll make it more difficult, and I don't want to see it happen, but I'm not going to be sitting there like chewing on my fingernails nervous if they're down 3-0, 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, because I know this team is comfortable with it. But if they were to do it in Detroit, if they were to do it against Minnesota, if they were to do it in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, if we get to that point, I'm losing my mind. Same thing with the A.J. Brown injury. I'm not worried about it right now. If this is something that progresses when you play better teams, it becomes a lot more of a worry for me. Is that fair? Does that make sense as far as my mindset?
Sure. I mean, you are a little, I think, though, this week you've gone a little from chesty to not chesty to chesty to not chesty. Are you consider yourself chesty today or not?
Well,
I'm saying it flat out. 2-score victory minimum. 10 points minimum. I think it might be more.
They win this game by a touchdown. I'm feeling very, very good that the Eagles win.
5 minutes to go. Am I tweeting out from the Fanatic account, buckle up, everybody?
No.
Okay.
No, you're not. Because
Brandon,
5 minutes to go.
5 minutes to go. Am I sending out all right, everybody, buckle up? I've had to do that a few games this year.
No.
Okay.
Because 5 minutes to go, the Eagles are going to have the ball up a touchdown or more, and they're going to be running out the clock with Saquon Barkley, and we're going to know how that movie ends.
See, now, to me, it's got to be, to not be buckled up, you have to be up by 9 with 5 minutes.
If they're up by 7 and they're running the clock out.
No, I wouldn't count that.
I
because
feel very good about that situation.
I don't do that.
They've done it all year.
No, because somebody can still beat you with a touchdown and 2-point conversion.
Yeah, well, you're going to drive it down. Jake Elliott, he never misses. They're going to make a kick and extend it to 10.
Oh my
Let's hope it doesn't come down to the field goal. Andrew Salciunas made that point earlier. Yeah, I'm feeling very, very good about where this team is at heading into the game. So, Chesty, you could certainly call it that. Sounds like the fan base is getting there. Sounds like you've been there. Brendan Gunn's there. We're feeling good about the Birds. And we're feeling good about the final segment of the show. We're going to talk to Michael Westwood of GBI Wins coming up next for his picks for a big weekend. We talked to him yesterday about Penn State Notre Dame. He's got some more for you today. And then we're also just going to wrap up with our score predictions. So a lot still to come near on Kincade and Salciunas. I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade, I was going to say to my left, but in a nondescript station here at the Fanatic. Just so people don't know exactly where you're at, because I know it's been bothering you. Brendan Gunn
What
in
if
the
a
producer's
serial
studio.
killer is like stalking me?
That's true. That's a fair point. I didn't think of that. We'll be back after
A
this.
sniper.
For more Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly sports tonight. Discussion on the big stories we've been talking about all day. Coming up tonight.
Final segment of Kincade and Salciunas today before we hand things over to the Mike Missanelli Show. They'll be broadcasting live from Rally House in Willow Grove, so you can go out and see them in person or, of course, listen to them right here.
I think it'd be fun to see them in person, though.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Get out there.
And maybe pat Mike on the back a little bit.
It's your
after
city,
Penn
it's
State
your
last
house.
night.
You see, this is where, I could take cheap shots at Mike, but I'm not going to. Because Mike is a fan, is a very logical fan, and he's very analytical about it. And I think he's I don't think he's insufferable about that.
No, I still hold the L.
Now,
I
about
didn't
the
mean that
Iga.
as a slight.
Oh,
but
okay.
He may
He
not
doesn't
be-
need a Mike
Listen,
didn't need a
it's a
pat
tough
on the
loss.
Mike didn't need a pat on his shoulder after that loss 5 minutes after the game.
That's fair.
He's moved on at that point.
That's fair enough. I
Very
do
similar.
feel for the real fan. I had no dog in the fight, so I feel for the fans of Penn State
the way,
who are not happy this morning.
I had to check with Kevin Nagandi as to, because Mike continues to push a false narrative of like working in the media. Penn State is just the same as working at Temple, going to Temple. Let's just say I have numbers.
Okay.
I got numbers for you. Got numbers.
I love that side project you got going there. I'm going to stay out of that conversation because I don't have a dog in the fight as far as that's concerned. But, man, this next guy we're talking to, he'll give you a dog in any fight.
No, he's on a roll. He'll tell you which is the nastier dog. He'll tell you the dog that hasn't had its shots because he has inside information.
Yes, Michael Westwood's been killing it on GBIwins.com. You can go ahead and check out all of his work. He's got the free number for you to call. Killed it last night. Going to give you great information for the biggest weekend of football so far this year. Playoffs up and down the board, and he's got the winning numbers. So let's go to Michael Westwood on the Comcast Business Hotline. Michael, how you doing?
Johnny Connor, I'm in a little bit of disarray. I'm very upset. I'm stressed out. I know you've been discussing this all morning, but I got to ask you guys a question.
Yes.
How is it possible that Franklin calls a play over the middle with 43 seconds left, either go to overtime or run the ball and try to get into field goal? Tell me, guys.
It was
you guys are the masters
idiotic
legends at this.
Idiotic decision.
Yeah,
and
that was
more
dumb.
importantly,
I don't
trusting,
even know what to say.
Trusting that young man
upset
to
about it, and
yeah.
I did have a dog in this fight.
You did.
I did have a dog, no doubt about it. And again, I'm very transparent. That dog lost last night because of stupidity. I cannot blame it on the young quarterback. I mean, this kid, he's a good quarterback. He's not ready for the NFL. I'm not a big fan of him. But come on, man. Franklin, run the ball, please.
I feel you, Mike. But
overtime.
Well, now make up for it today, then.
Oh, my God. Listen to me. I got to put that to sleep. I've been up all night thinking about that. But listen, guys, I'm doing something today that I haven't done all season long. And the reason why I'm doing this is because today's Ohio State-Texas battle is my number one bowl game of the year. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting a guarantee up for $10. $10, that's it. That's called skin of the game. Okay, you dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525. Press number. Do what you have to do with this. Just follow my game and do what I have to tell you to do. It's very important that I'm going to charge you $10, okay? You get involved with us for $10. I'm going to give you tonight's Ohio State-Texas matchup plus the over-under. It's going to cost you $10, and that's it. It's on my message. Someone will answer the phone today. Usually it's a recorded message line, but somebody will answer the phone, and you make the decision. Either pay $10 for the guarantee, and the guarantee is very simple. If for some unknown reason I lose this game tonight, which you've got a better shot of getting hit by a freight train in your living room, which I don't think is going to happen, if I lose the game tonight, I will give you the rest of the wild card NFL weekend on me. So it's your choice. $10 right now. You dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, that's 1-800-885-2525. The decision is yours.
Saturday slate, Sunday slate, a Monday night football. The NFL spreading this over 3 days is sort of devious because they control the television population.
I mean, you think about games that are coming up this weekend. You got the Chargers playing the Texans. You got the Steelers and Bills, obviously, on Saturday. Then we got the premier game, Packers and Eagles, which I already have. I love that game. Absolutely. I know who you guys like. I love that game. And then you have the Commanders playing the Bucks. And, of course, Monday night's Viking-Rams. I mean, this is the ultimate football weekend. All right, but let's focus on tonight's game. Ohio State playing Texas. Okay, I will win this game hands down. If you want to be involved with the guarantee, it's going to cost you $10. That is it. All you have to do right now is dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, that's 1-800-885-2525. If you don't want to pay the $10 and you just want the free game this evening, I'm okay with that also. But the bottom line is there's a guarantee this evening. It'll cost $10. Once again, give us a call now.
It's 800-855-2525. 800-855-2525.
Nope. It's 1-800-885.
885, excuse me. 885. Make sure you get in on it. 800-885-2525. Get in on all the action this weekend. And we'll look forward to seeing some winners this weekend, Michael.
You got it. Once
Take care,
again,
buddy.
It's a guarantee. Get involved with us. 1-800-885-2525.
There you go.
Check him out at GBIWins.com. Michael Westwood there joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline.
800-885-2525.
That is correct. He's got what you need for tonight's college football game, the second semifinal, and then, well, you've got the guarantee that if you pay the $10 and don't get that one, he'll give you this wild card weekend for free. So he's got that all covered.
A lot of
for you.
action this weekend.
I kind of just want to call and see if he's picking the birds. Like, I'm very, very interested in what he's got in that game because I want to know what the experts have on the handicapping lines. I know what we have on the Philadelphia Eagles line, and we are going to give you our final score predictions in just a little bit. But first and foremost, we've got to take care of something that we always do at this time, which is the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, the best 3 minutes of today's show, presented by Von C. Brewing.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
This is what we've been waiting for all year, right? The opportunity to see this team. Like, once they started going on that run, it was probably about 4 to 5 wins into that 10-game win streak that they went on coming off the bye. You started to get a sense of just how good this Philadelphia Eagles team was going to be.
When was it for you? Do you remember?
I'm trying to really pinpoint.
I mean, because I think for everybody it was probably a different.
You know what? For me, it was probably the Rams game, I think, was where it was just like, oh, okay, this team's legit. The Ravens win, though, was their best one. I just think we knew before that Ravens game how good this team could be. That was more of a confirmation. How about for you?
I think, obviously, that the Ravens win was the big exclamation point. Absolutely. But to me, you took it out of my mouth, the Rams. The Rams game and the demolition of the Rams. And the fact that they fell behind early, looked really bad in the first quarter, and then just literally stomped on them for 3 quarters. That's where it was, and then it was reinforced the next week by the Ravens.
Right.
By the time we got to December 1st, which was the Ravens game, then it was, look, I started talking about New Orleans because I really believed, okay, then it was legitimately you got a shot to go past what I thought was the season.
This postseason run has been anticipated for well over a month now. Probably you could say months by some in the fan base saying, we know this team is good. We know this team is Super Bowl caliber. Let's see them get there.
I love the word you're using. They're Super Bowl caliber. And before the year, I thought this team was Super Bowl caliber. Did I think they could win a Super Bowl? I wasn't sure. And I really didn't think the defense would be. I know now that this team can absolutely win a Super Bowl. Well, they need a lot to go right. And maybe something isn't going right.
Yes, and we will
not to be overly alarmist, but
well, some people may be today, and if you want to be, you can make that case. But the big news yesterday is A.J. Brown. He's out of practice with a knee injury. He practiced for a short period of time on Wednesday and then left practice. Yesterday, he did not practice with a knee issue. Now, the feeling around the complex down there at NovaCare, from the players, from the coaching staff, is that A.J. Brown's going to play on Sunday.
I think that it is 100% from 3 different ways that I checked last night before Villepin he will play on Sunday.
But you got that weird face.
I have serious concern.
Of what?
This is not normal. And any one of you out there, it's like, oh, here it goes. Philadelphia media going to try to create something. I would ask you, how many times does a player miss Wednesday and Thursday in practice and played this year for the Eagles? Doesn't happen.
Not often.
Thursday is the biggest practice of the week under Nick Sirianni. The Thursday practice is the important one. It is the critical one, mission critical, more than Friday. Now, AJ may go out today and I would expect that he will go out today and he will be limited in practice.
That would be ideal, yes.
And he will be limited. They will see what they got. If he sits again today, I'm concerned that he's playing on Sunday.
Even if he doesn't practice today, I would not be concerned. Because
well, you should be concerned because it would be a first in the Nick Sirianni administration.
There it is, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, presented by Von C. Brewing. Visit them in Norristown, where you can try their Key 3, the OG Pils, legendary Philly lager, gold medal winner at the 2023 World Beer Cup for Best American Pilsner. Walking on Clouds, Von C's flagship hazy IPA,
and the Vienna Lager. It is all the German ingredients you could ever imagine. And then in Norristown, you don't run into any of those dumb, PSU fans running around, the Walmart alumni up here. We don't have any of that. And we have none of the Notre Dame people. None of them. Hey, check out VonCbrewing.com. They rarely come up to Norristown. We're all Birds fans in Norristown. I don't even know what bird it is, but they all say bird.
I'll tell you if German John won't. If you're a Fighting Irish fan or a Penn State fan, you're also welcome in Von C Brewing Company.
Yeah, they are. You drink because you're a fan of that PSU.
One's drinking happily today. One's drinking in sadness.
Can I give you this?
Yeah,
this one for you, too?
What do you got?
And this is good. These are two from now. We are proud. We're proud as Temple alum. And you're Klein, and I'm going to call you on this one. We are the second most populous of an employee college at ESPN. I already know from working at CBS, we are the second most populous university in CBS Sports. So CBS Sports and ESPN, the second most populous college. The most populous college you can guess, Syracuse. So if you want to be in a media career, kids, I know you love Uncle Mike, but it would probably be best. You have a much better shot if you're going to Temple University. And if you take my class, you might get 100. Now, Silvana Kelleher got a 99.
You'll be able to hear on Best Show Ever,
but she worked
producing later today.
Hey, but, I'm ready. 31-13, Connor.
31-13. Now,
31-13.
I don't think I could go that far.
It will be tight into midway through the second quarter. The fourth quarter will be a joker.
All right, Brendan Gunn, your thoughts?
That's crazy. I love that.
That's crazy.
31-13.
I'm not that far off, though. I'll go 30-20.
30-20. Okay. I have the same score for the Packers as you, Brendan Gunn, but I don't have the Eagles getting quite to 30. I have the Birds winning 28-20, but I think it's a comfortable 8-point victory. We all have the Eagles advancing to the divisional round of the NFC postseason picture. You'll get Andrew Salciunas' prediction. He already gave you his initial one, but we know he likes to flip-flop every once in a while on the Birds Insider pregame show. So you'll hear, hopefully, I believe the plan is still for it to be Andrew Salciunas, myself, and Bill Colarulo, as long as everyone's healthy.
And we are, Bill is on baby watch.
Yeah, that's also true.
So you may get a little of me, maybe.
Hey,
get a little of me if it's necessary, but hopefully everything's great with that, and Bill is going to be ready to go.
It's postseason time. Whatever we got to do. I know Johnny's available as well, but you got some great stuff coming the rest of the day and this weekend as we lead you up on the Fanatic here to the Eagles match up with the Green Bay Packers, and you've got the Mike Missanelli Show coming to you live from the Rally House in Willow Grove next at 10 a.m. Mike's going to have some great stuff getting you ready for this game, and I believe Bill is back with him today.
I think he is.
So there you go. The full Mike Missanelli Show back together.
Sing it, Connor. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Gunner, take it.
E-A-G. Oh, way too fast. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's terrible.
Hopefully that's not an indicator of how this weekend's going to go. All right, everybody. That's our time. We'll talk to you.